Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to the Anime Fictions 2.0. Today, we're diving into another exciting What If Naruto Get His Game On. Part 4. Check full playlist. If you're enjoying these alternate timelines, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and check out the other videos on the channel. And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments. I always love hearing your ideas. Alright, enough talk, let's get into the story. Chapter 30 Attack of Titan Part 1. Life at Duel Academy had always been a bit strange, no one was going to argue otherwise. However, ever since the 8 stars became a threat, things had gotten even stranger. Let's sum up what's happened since then, shall we? A refresher course, if you will. Firstly, Naruto had to duel a guy called Darkness in a volcano of all places. And if that wasn't a strange enough situation for you, then how about Darkness actually being Asuka's older brother Fubuki, possessed by some kind of dark spirit? After Darkness came Camula, the vampire who not only defeated Kronos but also Ryu, taking out a sixth of the key holders all by herself. If losing those 2 keys wasn't already bad enough, then immediately after Kronos' defeat, Naruto lost his key in a duel against Akio Shinji, the man with the strange gauntlet that manipulated people's emotions. After his embarrassing defeat, Naruto was engulfed in darkness by Akio, once again subjecting the blonde to the horrors of the world of darkness. Naruto had to battle a dark spirit who had bonded himself to Naruto's memories of his previous life, the prize being Naruto's body. Naturally, Naruto defeated the spirit called Jami for lack of a better name, and finally embraced his past, not allowing it to bother him anymore. After this, as you all know, things picked up. Judai went on to defeat Camula, and Naruto defeated Akio in a revenge duel. Showing great faith in her friend, Asuka lent her key to Naruto, trusting him to win the duel and keep it safe. Shortly after this, the spirit of Uchiha Madara possessed the head of Naruto's fan club Kurayami Yoki, and used her body to challenge Naruto to a duel. Having never played a game of duel monsters in his life, Madara was swiftly defeated and Kurayami saved. The event was enough to push Asuka over the edge, leading to her finally making her feelings for Naruto known, which he returned in kind. Next came the Amazoness Tanya, a fierce woman with an even fiercer attraction towards Misawa. Her womanly wiles almost enraptured Misawa to the point of no return, but a few words from Naruto, and the reminder of a certain prank, Misawa snapped out of his love-induced trance and soundly defeated Tanya. After that, a bizarre pirate came to Duel Academy, but as he was not one of the stars, he's not even worth mentioning. Let's just say that Judai beat him, and leave it at that. However, the next foe was indeed one of the Hachizai, the leader of the Black Scorpions, the dual spirit Don Zalug. Masquerading as Inspector Megure and invited by Daidokuji to the island, he tricked the key bearers into hiding their keys in places where they could be taken without fuss. The only ones who noticed something was up were Naruto and Manjum. The two conspired together with much reluctance from each party to catch the man and whatever scheme he had cooked up. So, Manjum hid his Ojama cards in Asuka's and Judai's rooms, while Naruto placed Haku in Misawa's. Once they got all the evidence they needed after Megure's subordinates, who had infiltrated the school and took jobs to blend in, stole the keys, Manjum dueled Don Zalug, who used a Black Scorpion deck obviously. Long story short, Manjum won, took in the Dark Scorpions as his own cards, and the Hachizai were down one more member. The key bearers had a huge advantage in numbers now, with 5 key bearers to the 3 Hachizai left. The next of the Hachizai wasn't far behind the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Abydos III, known as the god of dueling in his time. After everyone was attacked by some mummies and taken to a ship, Judai dueled the pharaoh. Previously pouting about not being able to duel someone with the title pharaoh, Naruto soon got over it when he realized that Abydos actually sucked ink at dueling. Realizing that his servants had always gone easy on him, Abydos became upset, but Judai resolved to teach him the joys of dueling. After winning, Judai promised to say hi to Abydos in heaven after about 100 years or so. Abydos then departed on a positive note. Nobody noticed Daidokuji's strange behavior. Geez, talk about shitty weather. Naruto muttered as he studied the cards in his hand thoughtfully, briefly glancing to the window as thunder rumbled, before returning his gaze. In front of him, Misawa nodded. They were sitting on the floor of Naruto's room, playing a game of Duel Monsters old school style. The genius sat smugly back as he watched his rival think of a way out of the situation he'd set up. On Misawa's side was Dimensional Fisher, and DD Warrior Lady, who had a nasty effect of allowing its controller to remove it and its opponent's monster from play after battle. Naruto had nothing on his field, and only 2 cards in his hand. The life points were Misawa 2400, Naruto 2000. I believe that you should be putting more thought into figuring a way out of this situation than the build of cumulonimbus clouds in the sky. Naruto glared at his rival. By the way, you forgot to draw a card. Naruto's glare fell into a befuddled blinking. The blonde facepalmed V2D and drew a card. You've seemed rather out of sorts today, Naruto. Are you alright? The blonde had made some mistakes that he wouldn't normally make in their duels so far. Naruto stopped staring at the card he drew to look at Misawa. The blonde sighed. Yeah, I'm fine, just thinking about Asuka is all. She's still really torn up about her brother. It was true, if Asuka wasn't in class or eating, she'd be in the infirmary with Fubuki, watching over him, or escorting him whenever he felt like walking around. Naruto sighed and looked back at his hand. Misawa frowned, rubbing his chin lightly as he thought. I've noticed that you've been hanging around her a lot less now. Is everything alright between you two? It was true, recently Naruto had been spending less time with Asuka, and more with Misawa and Alexander when he wasn't sucking face with Momo. Heck, he'd even started hanging out with Judai, and the blonde was starting to warm up the excitable Slifer now that he was no longer being all angsty about his past. The reason for this being that Asuka had been very out of sorts herself lately, and had been spending more and more time sitting in Fubuki's room, just staring at him. Naruto had stayed with her many times, but sitting and doing nothing had never been one of his strong suits. Frankly, it was amazing that he even had the attention span to play Duel Monsters. Naruto blinked and looked up, before shrugging and looking back. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously she's busy with her brother, but you feel as if she's too focused on him. Naruto groaned and held his temples with forefinger and thumb. Alright, hearing it out loud makes me feel like even more of an ass. He rubbed his temples for a moment before dropping his hand. I know he's her brother, and he's been missing for ages, and she should spend a lot of time with him, and yet. Misawa studied his friend for a moment, before smiling. Don't be so hard on yourself. Naruto turned his full attention onto his friend. It's normal that you want to spend a lot of time with Asuka, your relationship is brand new after all. The only problem is that it started at probably the worst time imaginable. Still, better it came out now rather than letting it stew up and explode into something particularly unpleasant. Which, as I recall, was exactly what you intended on doing. Naruto huffed and looked back at his cards. Also, the fact that you feel guilty about that means you still care about what she wants and about her, but you still have your own feelings to consider. From what I have heard from Alexander, relationships are all about communication. If something isn't communicated and it builds up, well, you might say or do something that can't be undone. Try talking to her about it, and maybe you can come to some kind of understanding. When the hell did you become the relationship guru? Naruto deadpanned. From what I recall, the woman you fell for was a tiger. Misawa twitched, getting a smirk from Naruto. And how about Belmont? A few months ago he was a stuttering mess around girls, and now he's dating one of the most popular girls in our year. When did I fall behind stutterer and a furry romantic know-how? I am not a furry, Misawa snapped, veins protruding from his neck. Who said I was talking about you? Misawa growled at the infuriating grin on Naruto's face. Just take your damn turn already. Naruto shrugged. Alright then, I play brainwashing brain control to take over your DD warrior lady at the cost of 800 life points. Misawa twitched as Naruto took his monster and placed it on his side of the field. Then I tribute it to summon Snake Sannin Orochimaru in attack mode. He smirked as Misawa put DD warrior lady to the side of the graveyard, and Naruto placed Orochimaru in attack mode. Due to his effect, I searched my deck for an Edo Tensei and added to my hand. Naruto picked up his deck and thumbed through it before taking out the appropriate spell card, before reshuffling the deck. Not that I need it, because Orochimaru's attack points are equal to the amount of life points you have left. I won. Misawa groaned and fell back onto his hands. Damn it, it seems that I need to do some recalibrations. He then coughed into his hand. Not that I was playing seriously, mind you. Of course, Naruto smirked, either was I. He looked outside for a bit, watching the rain fall. I guess I'll talk to her about it tomorrow. He was cut off by his PDA as it began to ring. Who's calling at this time of night? He wondered. Maybe you'll find out if you answer it. No shit, Sherlock. Naruto rolled his eyes and answered. Judai? Why the hell are you? Naruto. Asuka's been taken by Titan again. Naruto's eyes widened, nearly dropping his PDA in his shock. Naruto? Naruto shook his head. What the hell are you talking about? Titan's gone. I dunno, maybe he finally came back for revenge or something? Judai said, his breathing heavy as he spoke, as if he was running. Naruto went to argue, before reminding himself that now wasn't the time. Whatever, that's not important. Where are you and why are you running? Misawa watched the conversation with a frown, moving over to look over Naruto's shoulder. We're going to where there'll probably be Fubukis with us. Fubuki is? Naruto repeated. Right, well tell me where you're going then, I'll be right there. After a quick explanation, Naruto and Misawa were out of the door and running in the rain towards the abandoned dorm. Damn it, how is Titan back? I watched him get eaten. Or is that just what it looked like? Maybe he was taken by the darkness and embraced to become. He shook his head, water flying off the top of his head from the motion. Damn it, I should have been there with her. We were supposed to be paired up, but just because I was fucking jealous of her own brother, she's been kidnapped again. Some boyfriends I have. Naruto! Naruto, over here! He and Misawa stopped running at the sound of Judai's voice, turning around to see the aforementioned Slifer, along with Sho, Hayato, Ryu and Manjum, Kronos running towards him, with Ryu and Hayato holding up Fubuki as they ran. They waited until the group caught up before running with them. Quickly enough they reached the abandoned dorm, and they wasted no time in entering. Asuka gasped as she came to, before quickly pulling herself together and facing Titan, who stood opposite her. My older brother's memories, please tell me about his lost memories. If you want me to tell you, you should duel me. If you duel and win, you will probably get back the memories that Fubuki lost. However, should I win, I will take you back to the world of darkness, along with your key to the 8 spirit gates. In order to make you a new dark duelist, that is. Titan kicked a dual disc to her feet along the ground, which had a large elaborate circular carving on it. Take this. Asuka glanced at it, before looking back at him. Are you prepared? He asked, turning on his dual disc, which looked like a demon wing. It's already finished, Sho yelled, declaring their presence. Asuka! Naruto yelled, stopping along with the others on the edge of an outcrop that surrounded the duel arena. Are you alright? And then, Titan's probably a real dark duelist now. No more bullshit special effects this time. Huh. So this isn't about collecting his debt, is it? What are you talking about, Professor Kronos? Manjum asked in irritation. It's nothing. Pasta. Naruto ignored them, staring down at Asuka, who glanced at him before looking at Fubuki. From that brief glance, he knew that she wouldn't back down. I'll just have to trust that she can win, just like how she trusted me against Akio. She deserves the same unwavering faith that she had for me. He still grimaced at the situation. I just hope she doesn't get too caught up in getting Fubuki's memories back. Duel. Naruto shook his head clear and focused on the duel. It's starting. It is my turn. Draw. A card shot out from Titan's dual jacket, which he caught between 2 fingers. I summon Demon Picador. Demon Picador Warrior Dark LVL, 4. ATK Def 1600-1200. Next I place 1 card face down, which ends my turn. I drew a card. Asuka looked at her card before placing it on her dual disc. I summoned Cyber 2-2. A ballerina with a green visor spun into a battle position. Cyber 2-2 Warrior Earth LVL, 3. ATK Def 1800. A card which makes its forte attacking, is it? Titan mused aloud. That's right, and there aren't any monsters on this field with an attack lower than my tutus. Titan chuckled darkly. It's an effect monster that isn't to be taken lightly, I see. Now, why don't you come and attack me? Naruto scoffed under his breath when he saw Titan's cocksure grin. He's clearly beating her, and that face down is no doubt a trap card. Either that or he's confident that the damage will be meaningless in the long run. Knowing how crap a duelist Titan is, probably the first. Asuka narrowed her eyes for a moment, before gasping, clearly coming to a similar conclusion. From my hand, I activate the spell card. Allegro Tool. This magical power placed on my ballerina destroys a spell or trap card on the field. Cybertutu's slippers began to glow pink, before she started spinning and fired a sword at Titan's face down, destroying it. What? Titan yelled, utterly surprised by the move. With Cybertutu's monster effect Titan, I attack you directly. Nouvelle point. I wish Belmont was here, he probably speaks French. By the way, it's pretty hot when Asuka speaks in French, she should do it more often. A grin crossed his face as Cybertutu attacked Titan, but he suppressed it once he remembered the situation. Right, there's a time for that later. Cybertutu delivered a roundhouse kick to Titan's face, sending the man to one knee. Asuka 4000. Titan 3000. Gag. Ugh. Yurg. Titan grunted, rubbing his jaw tenderly. I place one card face down, ending my turn. A good impression, Asuka-san, Sho remarked, and Naruto closed his eyes with a sigh. And here comes the comments from the peanut gallery. It would seem that, until now, Asuka's feelings towards Fubuki are overpowering Titan's darkness, Raya remarked. Fubuki grunted worriedly, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. No, that's not quite it. What do you mean, Naruto-san? Sho asked, and the others looked at him curiously. What I mean is that if Titan was using all of his powers, it would take more than just feelings to overcome them. Trust me, I know. Memories of his time in the world of darkness came to mind, the pain of the darkness, how no matter what he felt or thought, nothing changed. Titan's holding his full power back for now. Assuming otherwise lulls Yaknu into a false sense of security, which in a duel of darkness is definitely a bad thing. Indeed, one should always remain vigilant. Misawa nodded, rubbing his chin in thought. I guess. Sho muttered, not wholly convinced, though you seem to be in thought. It is my turn, draw. I battle. Go, Demon Picador. Dark strobe. A green beam fired from Demon Picador towards Cybertutu, but Asuka was having none of that. I activate the trap card, Double Passe. Naruto's eyes widened. Why is she using that now? I'm taking that attack. The beam struck, seemingly passing straight through her chest, causing the blonde girl to grunt in pain, grasping her chest as she stumbled backwards. Titan 3000. Asuka 2400. In exchange, Titan, you'll be taking a direct attack from Cybertutu. What? Nouvelle point. KGGGH. Asuka 2400. Titan 2000. Alright. It's Asuka's raging wave offense. Did you see that, bro? Judai asked Fubuki, who grit his teeth. What is it? You should look a bit more happy. No. Judai turned to look at Raya as the Kaiser spoke. Fubuki's feeling it, that it's an offense unlike Asuka. Yeah, Manjum agreed, it looks like Tenjin-kun's being too impatient. That right? Judai asked. Indeed, losing Cybertutu would have been acceptable at this stage of the duel. Asuka-san took unnecessary damage just to deal more damage to Titan's life points. Misawa added his 2 yen. If she had just let it hit, they'd both be 1,000 points up. It was a risky maneuver. Misawa glanced at Naruto, who had a small frown on his face, before he wiped it away. Even so, I still trust that she knows what she's doing. I have to. Titan chuckled again. What? Asuka asked, surprised by his jubilance. What are you impatient about? Is it that you're anxious about your tactics out of fear? I want to rescue my suffering brother from the darkness of his memories as soon as I can. That's all it is. Naruto bit the inside of his lip at the implications of her comment. Asuka, don't rush it. That's a rookie mistake. You can't afford to make mistakes in a duel of darkness. I've learned that firsthand. Is that so? Well, fine. I'll take you into the world of darkness again, and I'll let you have the same experience your brother had. I look forward to it. Like hell you will be an ass clown, Naruto yelled, catching both Titan's and Asuka's attention. Asuka's gonna kick your sorry ass, you dogger. Oh, I get it, 'cause he's wearing a mask. Yami chuckled, And there's your daily reminder of my existence. Oh Naruto. Asuka, despite the situation, sweat dropped, not at all surprised that her boyfriend was slinging insults at her opponent. Despite that though, she felt a small boost of confidence from his obvious faith for her. Titan growled. Dogger. He clenched his fist for a moment, before shaking his head. I activate the ritual magic, Ritual of Matador Descent Dark Paseo. From my hand, I sacrifice my level 6 demons summoned to ritual summon Demons Matador. Demons Matador Warrior Ritual Dark LVL 6. ATK Def 00. A monster with both an attack and defense of. Asuka observed, just what kind of tactics is it concealing? Until now, my battles weren't duels of darkness. From here on out, this is a true duel of darkness. My item of darkness will now awaken. I knew it. Naruto grimaced, he's not holding his power back anymore. Titan's mask started glowing, before it stopped. I will activate the Bullring of Darkness Dark Arena. A pitch-black shadow spread from the center of the duel field, engulfing both duelists. Asuka looked around in shock. What? What is this? On Titan's side of the field a demonic head roared, and Asuka watched as Titan and his monsters faded out of sight into the darkness. My turn has ended. What's this? What's happening in this thing? Hayato and Sho continued to be unhelpful. A duel, I assume. Naruto snarked, though his heart wasn't really in it. What is it, no any? We cannot see anything now, can we? No shit. Naruto muttered, causing Misawa to glance at him from the corner of his eye. His gaze trailed down to the blonde's hands, which were shoved deep into his jacket's pockets. Misawa stared for a moment, watching the almost indiscernible shaking in them, before returning his gaze to the dome of darkness. Naruto, you've battled him, haven't you? Manju asked, remarkably civilly. Did he use techniques like this then too? Naruto scoffed. Nah, he was just some 2-bit conman with a fake millennium item and petty illusions. But this, his eyes narrowed on the dome, this is all too real. He shot Kronos a look, causing the man to swallow nervously. Naruto shook his head. This time he's not faking, this is a true duel of darkness, and the consequences are real as well. Back in the dome, Titan laughed darkly. Here, attack mode monsters must always wage an attack. On top of that, you cannot choose the monster targeted by the attack. I am the one who will decide your target. Through the darkness, I can see your face, trembling in fear. Trembling in the darkness is an animal's instinct. Asuka shot back, but humans have reason to surpass their instincts. It's the power to think of the hope that lies beyond the darkness. It's my turn. Drawl, I activated the spell card, Fusion. I used the Itoll Cyber and Blade Skater in my hand to summon Cyber Blader. Cyber Blader Warrior Fusion Earth LVL 7. ATK Def 2100-800. Cyber Blader changes its monster effect according to the number of my opponent's monsters. Oh? Titan, there are 2 monsters on your field. And so, Cyber Blader's attack doubles to 4200. Pas de trois. CB ATK 4200. Ha ha ha! A powerful monster with 4200 attacks? It doesn't matter if I don't choose my attack target. When faced with this overwhelming power, there are no monsters that won't be defeated. I battle Titan. I wish I could see what was happening. Naruto thought, gritting his teeth as he stared at the darkness hiding Asuka from his view. Yami, isn't there anything you can do? Yami hummed. I dunno. Unless. He went silent for a bit, clearly thinking about something. I suppose it's worth a try. What? Tell me. Well, you could just try sticking your head through. Oh, what a brilliant plan. Haku joined the conversation with a sarcastic comment. I'm sure that would work out just fine. Hey, it was just a suggestion. Besides, it's not like I'm saying he should just shove his face in as is. I was thinking that I could give him some of my power so he could pass through the darkness unfazed. Oh. Well, why didn't you just say that then? I would have if you didn't jump in on the conversation, Ms. on the Ragadan. Excuse me? I believe it is the best plan we have. The voice of Itachi added, causing Naruto, Haku, and Yami to all blink in surprise. Oh, hey Itachi. I forgot you were around. Naruto shook his head. Yami, do it. Are you sure? Haku asked worriedly, what if it doesn't work? I have to try. Right then, here goes. A faint black glow covered Naruto, his eyes taking a red tint as Yami's powers of darkness flowed through him. I've covered you in darkness, that should probably maybe possibly work. Naruto took a step forward, catching everyone's attention. Uzumaki, what are you doing? Raya asked. He was ignored. And what happens if it doesn't? Naruto-san? Well, there's a chance you. Signore Uzumaki? What? Well, Naruto thought, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Naruto, where are you going? Misawa asked, finally getting Naruto's attention. Naruto grinned slightly. Going in, obviously. Eh? What? Are you insane? Bolognese. I can't just stand here not knowing what's going on, Naruto told them firmly, facing the dome once again. I need to see how she's doing, even if it kills me. Fubuki took his eyes off the darkness to give Naruto a surprised look. But, Naruto-san. Sho stuttered. Sorry, but you guys can't change my mind. Naruto. Misawa gave his friend a long, hard look which was returned in full. Misawa's eyes narrowed as he observed the slight aura around Naruto. This aura, it's just like back in his rematch with Akio. Misawa closed his eyes with a sigh. Don't die just yet, I still need to defeat you in a proper duel. He then leaned in, speaking loud enough so only Naruto could hear him. As well as some answers for certain questions I have. He moved back, staring Naruto in the eyes. Naruto tilted his head ever so slightly in thought, before nodding. Fair enough. And with that, Naruto jumped through the darkness. Chapter 31 Attack of Titan Part 2 Titan Falls. Okay, Naruto grimaced, this probably wasn't one of my best ideas. He clenched his teeth hard, harder than he had ever done so before. Normally it would have hurt, if he wasn't already experiencing great pain as it was. The darkness surrounding him felt like a tornado of blades. He'd even guessed that this was what it felt like to get hit by the Raisin Shuriken. If so, then he almost felt sorry for Kakuzu. Almost. Unlike when Akio had defeated him, this was reminding him more of his time in the world of darkness. Whereas his darkness-induced coma put him through the darkness again, this time it came with all of the pain his trip to this world came with. Most likely the only reason for him being alive still was Yami's power coating him. Damn it, Yami, you could have told that this would hurt like a motherfucker. Hey, I told you there was a chance you might get ripped apart. The spirit said indignantly. Also, what's up with the term hurts like a motherfucker? Do they go through any particular kind of pain? They probably do when the sun finds out. Touché. Sorry, Haku interjected, but are you two really discussing something like this right now? Yeah, why not? It's important stuff. Haku rolled her inner eyes. Men. But yeah, I should probably focus on walking through this literal wall of darkness and making it out alive. Technically, it's more of a dome. I liked it better when you didn't talk, Itachi. Naruto pushed onwards, taking tiny steps. The darkness swirled and swiped, trying its best to take him. Just a bit more. He heard faint voices, seeping in through the quietness of the dark. Ugh, that's Titan's voice. Demon's Matador isn't destroyed in battle and doesn't take damage. The masked man's voice was getting louder as Naruto got closer. But the opponent who conducts battle with it is destroyed. But bullshit. Naruto gasped as he finally made his way in, stumbling slightly. I call hacks. He teetered for a moment before falling over. Naruto! Asuka gasped, her eyes wide. You! Titan growled. What are you doing here? Both said at the same time, and they took a moment to glare at each other before looking back. How did you get through the darkness? Titan demanded. Naruto chuckled as he pushed himself up to his feet. What can I say? I have a bit of a dark side, the ladies love it. He coughed and gripped his side, before scrutinizing Titan. Can't say it works for you though. Maybe you should try going metro? Some ladies like that. Then again, that trench coat of yours might help you fit in with some goth chicks. Titan growled. Naruto, what are you doing here? Asuka repeated, taking a step toward him before remembering she was in a duel. What do you think I'm doing here? Making sure you're alright. Asuka blinked before she narrowed her eyes. What, you think I can't take care of myself? Anyway, dash. Oh, I never said that. It's natural that I'd be worried for my girlfriend if I can't see what she's up to. That sounds very stalkery. Asuka deadpanned. Naruto winked. You're the only girl I'd ever stalk, Asuka-chan. As I was saying. I'm not sure if that's romantic or creepy. It's a fine line, babe. In addition, don't call me babe. Would you prefer I call you bae? Stop flirting and be intimidated by me. The couple blinked and turned back to Titan, who was panting harshly. Asuka was surprised. She'd forgotten where she was for a second there. Yeah, I'll be intimidated once you start being intimidating. Naruto smirked. All I'm seeing right now is some loser in a big hat. Which, by the way, is way too cool for a douche nozzle like you. Titan's fist shook. Furthermore, he spat, clearly eager to continue with the duel. Because of Dark Arena's effect, attack mode monsters must all conduct battle. Hacks. Did you forget Titan? Asuka asked, also getting back into duel mode. Cyber Tutu has a direct attack special ability. It won't be recklessly battling with Demon's Matador. Titan just laughed. We'll see about that. Cyber Tutu's monster effect will only be exhibited when there isn't a monster on my field with a lower attack than its own. My Demon Matador's attack is 0. Therefore, Cyber Tutu can't use its effect. Well shit. Naruto muttered as Cyber Tutu flew towards Titan's Demon Picador, making Asuka gasp. How about we have Demon Picador serve as your little dancer's opponent? Demon Picador fired a laser from its shoulder and destroyed Cyber Tutu. Cyber Tutu! Asuka gasped in pain as the laser followed through and blasted into her chest. Titan 2000. Asuka 1800. Asuka fell to her knees, making Titan chuckle as he stepped backwards into the. Asuka, you alright? Naruto asked in concern, his previous levity forgotten. Asuka winced. I didn't feel this pain until just a minute ago. This is a duel of darkness. Don't let the pain psych you out. Naruto grimaced. I know it hurts, but you need to ignore it if you want to think clearly. Silence from the peanut gallery. Titan barked, firing a beam of darkness from his mask. Naruto just glared with glowing red eyes and the darkness dispersed around him. What? From this point on, ignore him, Asuka. He'll just try to rile you up. Asuka stood up and looked at Naruto. Looking back at her hand, she bit her lip briefly before picking a card. I summoned Cyber Gymnastics in defense mode. Cyber Gymnastics Warrior Earth LVL 4. ATK Def 8001800. I end my turn. Cyber Gymnastics, huh? Shame she has no cards left in her hand, otherwise she could destroy that pesky Matador. Naruto mused. Why does it matter if she has no cards in her hand? Haku asked. Because Cyber Gymnastics has an ability where you can discard a card from your hand to destroy an attack mode monster on the field. All she can do right now is hope that Cyber Gymnastics can survive Titan's next turn so she can draw a card. When I see the way you're suffering, Titan started, but Naruto interrupted. Oh, for the love of crap, shut up already. He groaned. Why is it that you bad guys always have to have the speeches where you're all like, ooh, I really get off on your pain, or I will win because I are top best and my personal least favorite, you don't stand a chance, now usually followed by a muhahaha or two. Titan turned and glared at him. Silence, Uzumaki Naruto. It is your fault I turned out this way. If not for you, I would not have been dragged off into the world of darkness. Titan clenched his fist and stared at it. You stood there and watched as I was taken away, not a shred of pity in your gaze. So I begged for more power to escape that hell, and I was answered. I swore to defeat you keyholders in order to get a second chance at life. And so, I received this item of darkness. And another thing, Why do all you bad guys keep calling me by my full name? Naruto scratched behind his ear. It's always Uzumaki Naruto this and Uzumaki Naruto that, and holy crap, you should not have veins protruding from there. Bulging veins had started appearing all over Titan's face and hands, including his gloves and mask. Seriously, dude, that is not healthy. Such a sad person. Asuka interrupted, looking at Titan with disgust. The Dark Duelist's power isn't your true power. Dueling is about making a deck with your own reason and exhausting the limits of your knowledge. Come to think about it, I've never really made my own deck before, have I? Naruto mused. Pegasus has always made them for me. Shit, I really do come across as some spoiled rich kid, don't I? That brother of yours is the same, isn't he? Isn't it because he desired the same power I did as well, that he also became a dark duelist? Asuka glared. My brother's not like you, she yelled, sweeping her hand to emphasize her point. Titan grunted, then smiled. It is my turn. And on this turn, your fate will also be settled. Drawl HM, do you really think that you can pull through with a run of a barrier monster? Within the Dark Arena, Demon Picador can wage the same direct attacks that you're so fond of. Fucking hacks. Naruto muttered in annoyance. Demon Picador bypassed cyber gymnastics and shot Asuka directly. Asuka! He blurted out on instinct, watching her fall to her knees once again. Titan 2000. Asuka 200. Ha ha ha. Has the agony of the duel of darkness flowed through you? I would guess that, before long, you too will desire it. Power as a dark duelist. Like hell she will. Naruto snapped, running over to stand in front of her. Na Naruto. She looked up at him, staring at his back. Asuka's much stronger than you could ever hope to be, Titan. Naruto smirked, crossing his arms and flipping him off with one hand. She's strong, smart, and sexy. Asuka's sweat dropped. You should just stop speaking shit before the duel is even over, you flasher. Titan smirked. Oh, really, like she could possibly get out of this situation. Face it, your little girlfriend is finished. Only one part of that statement is true, and have you seen her boobs? They are most certainly not little. Asuka felt her brow twitch in annoyance. Naruto turned around with a smirk. You got this, Asuka, just calm down and think. She won't have time to think. Titan slapped a card down on his dual disc. I summoned Demon Banderiero. Fuck that word. Seriously, what a bitch to type. Demon Banderiero Warrior Dark LVL 3. ATK Def 9001600. Due to Demon Banderiero's monster effect, I destroy cyber gymnastics. Mother of all hacks. Naruto yelled as cyber gymnastics exploded. Cyber gymnastics. Ha ha ha. It's a shame that this card can't attack during the turn it's summoned, don't you think? Not really. Naruto deadpanned before wiping sweat off his brow. Man, you had me worried there. She won't have time to think. Made it sound like you were finishing it all there. You kind of suck at this, don't ya? Uzumaki. Asuka's still in this ya hack. As Judai says, and damn it, I hate myself for quoting him, a duel's not finished till the last card is played. He turned around to face Asuka, and frowned when he saw her defeated expression. Chin up. She stared at him blankly. Naruto grit his teeth as Titan laughed. See, boy. She's lost the will to go on. There's no way for her to win, and she knows it. Shut it, you! Naruto snapped, before he turned back around hearing the sound of Asuka fall over. Asuka! He ran over and knelt down next to her. Oh! You can't give in like this! Naruto's eyes were wide as he shook her. Come on, Asuka! So this is the end, is it? Titan wondered aloud. There should now be no strength left in you to continue this duel. Just surrender. Shut the fuck up! Naruto yelled, standing up and glaring at Titan with red eyes full of hate. Just shut the goddamn fuck up, you oversized coat stand. If you say one more word to her, I will end it for you. San. Naruto's eyes widened and he turned back to Asuka, seeing her eyes open wearily. Asuka. Naruto muttered. San. She said louder this time. Naruto. She climbed back on her feet and looked at her fellow blonde. I heard Nissan, and I heard you, Naruto. They ignored Titan's umpteenth confused what, in favor of each other. Thank you for believing in me. Naruto blinked then grinned shakily. Yeah, well, I kind of owed you one for back with Akio. Asuka smiled. I won't put yours or Nissan's faith to waste. Naruto stepped out of her way as she drew a card. I activate Pot of Greed. Naruto grinned as his, now, favorite spell card came into play. I'll draw 2 cards from my deck. She looked at her new cards and nodded. I activate Warrior's Return from my hand. Due to its effect, I added Blade Skater from my graveyard to my hand. Next I activate the spell card, Fusion Recovery. I'll return the Fusion card and Etoile Cyber that are in my graveyard to my hand and activate Fusion. Dash! Fusion HA motherfucker! Naruto cheered, a large grin on his face as he watched Asuka, happy to see her back in full form. I use Etoile Cyber and Blade Skater to summon Cyber Blader. CBATK 2100. Cyber Blader isn't a monster who loses its light by a duel of darkness. A true prima illuminates a stage with her own light and continues to dance. Well, mostly the stage lights do that. Even now, Naruto's smart-ass nature couldn't help but make a comment. He managed to keep it to himself, however. Titan was not impressed. There are 3 matadors on my field. What can one prima do on her own? Asuka smirked, in Naruto's most honest, unbiased opinion, an incredibly sexy smirk. When there are 3 opposing monsters, her third ability, Pa de Cotter, will activate. While once again he was cut off from saying what for the millionth time. Titan, your spell, trap, and monster effects are negated. And so, the Dark Arena will disappear. Haha HAA. In your face. Naruto laughed as Cyber Blader started to glow bright pink, causing the Dark Arena to disintegrate. What? My Dark Arena, my dual ring, it's the light engulfed the whole area, destroying the Dark Dome, revealing Asuka, Tian, and Naruto to the others. And at the same time, Demon Matador's effect, which reduces battle damage to 0, also becomes negated. What? I battle! Asuka declared with a fierce expression aimed at Titan. Cyber Blader, attack Demon's Matador. Glissard Slash. Titan cried out as his ace monster was kicked clean in the chin before shattering into pixels. He then cried out as Cyber Blader went on to do the same to him. Gayarg! He landed on the ground with a hard thump, the rest of his monsters vanishing as his life points hit 0. Asuka 200. Titan 0. Whoa! Titan tried to crawl away as the black blobs that took him away last time returned, swarming him once more. No! No! I can't fall into that world of darkness again. Help me, please! No one's helping you this time, Titan, Naruto said, watching him fall into darkness for the second time. Asuka watched too, looking as if she wasn't sure how to react, before Naruto picked her up in a hug and spun her around. Woo! You totally kicked his ass. That was an epic turnaround. Asuka couldn't help but laugh a little. Naruto, stop. He spun her around twice more before putting her down, a big shit-eating grin on his face. She returned it with a small smile, before she turned to look at her brother. He was watching the two of them with a smile, which she returned. For some reason they decided to do the proper reunion outside as the sun came back up and Naruto stood back with Misawa as they watched the tearful reunion. Fubuki and Ai-san. Asuka. The two hugged, and Naruto couldn't help but smile. So, still going to talk to her about that? Misawa whispered, a small smirk on his lips. Naruto shook his head. Nah, what's the point now? Naruto chuckled a little, putting his hands into his pockets and shrugging. It doesn't seem worth it to bring it up now. Misawa hummed. No, I guess not. Nissan, welcome home. Asuka whispered with a relieved smile. Sorry I worried you. But Nissan, Asuka pulled away from the hug, although Fubuki kept his hands on her arms. Why were you in the world of darkness? Naruto blinked. That's a good point actually. It's not as if I actually wanted to enter it. We were taking a special class at this dorm. And it was one day. He closed his eyes as he remembered that day. Called down into the duel ring in the basement, I was taken into the world of darkness in the middle of a test duel in the same way that Titan just vanished before our eyes. That was a world much like a nightmare. There, I kept going through duel training like nothing in this world could imagine. Who sent you into a world like that, Ni-san? Even now, I don't know that. But the one who called for me and conducted the test duel that day was Daidokuji-sensei. There was a collective gasp. Daidokuji-sensei did? Judai asked, baffled. Naruto frowned and exchanged a glance with Misawa. Clearly, shit just got real. Chapter end. Omake. Naruto, what are you doing here? Asuka repeated, taking a step toward him before remembering she was in a duel. What do you think I'm doing here? Making sure you're alright. Asuka blinked before she narrowed her eyes. What, you think I can't take care of myself? Anyway, dash. Oh, I never said that. It's natural that I'd be worried for my girlfriend if I can't see what she's up to. That sounds very stalkery. Asuka deadpanned. Naruto winked. You're the only girl I'd ever stalk, Asuka-chan. As I was saying. I'm not sure if that's romantic or creepy. It's a fine line, babe. In addition, don't call me babe. Would you prefer I call you bae instead? By this point, Titan gave up and decided to just watch. Actually, yes, I do prefer that. Eh? Really, I was just joking? That's a fucking stupid thing to call someone. It's in the Oxford Dictionary. Fuck the Oxford Dictionary. Gah, I can't believe you like that word. I can't believe you don't like that word. I don't even know who you are anymore. Screw you. Screw you. And so, it was a good job that Titan did interrupt them, as he may have just saved their relationship. The moral of the story is, don't say bae. It's fucking stupid. Chapter 32, the cool down chapter. Damn, now this is a festival. Naruto grinned as he shoveled his sixth bowl of ramen down his throat, dropping the chopsticks down with a clang. More please. The chef took his bowl and started working on another. I'm not sure what I just saw, but it was most certainly unnatural. Alexander deadpanned, pushing his own bowl away with a queasy expression. All around them was the hustle and bustle that came with the Academy's annual festival. Several stalls were lined up next to the RA yellow dorm room where a large number of students from all three dorms went from stand to stand, or gathered around the duel field to watch duels. Naruto and Alexander were sitting at a ramen stand, which had naturally been the first place Naruto had gone to. Here you go, Uzumaki-san. A cheerful RA yellow in a white hat and apron put another bowl before Naruto, which was immediately snatched and devoured. Are you done with yours, Belmont-san? Alexander glanced at Naruto, before grimacing and nodding. The chef went to take it, but it was taken by Naruto before he could. Man, you are RA-send, Ichiraku, I haven't had ramen this good for years. Naruto said around his food. Where have you been hiding all year? Ichiraku grinned as he started washing Naruto's used bowls. Well, I've been honing my skills until the festival. I wanted to make my ramen even better than it was last year. Naruto nodded absently, only actually half listening. Ah, that was some good eats. Naruto grinned as his bowl clattered against the counter. He stood up and turned to Alexander. Come on, Belmont, let's go get some of that takoyaki I've heard so much about. Ah, Naruto-san. Your bill. Naruto slowly turned to face Ichiraku, his eyes wide. Bill? But it's a festival. I paid for these ingredients out of my own pocket. Ichiraku protested, waving his arms wildly. Naruto sighed and reached for his wallet. Alright, how much do I owe you? 15,000 yen. Naruto's hand stopped just shy of his pocket. 15,000 yen. He spluttered in shock. But I only had 7 bowls. 8 if you count mine, Alexander added, watching with a small smirk. Naruto flipped him off. Stay out of this, Belmont. He pointed at Ichiraku indignantly. There's no way in hell I'm paying 15,000 yen for a few bowls of ramen. That's extortionate. You're paying for quality, Ichiraku yelled, slamming his hands down on the stand. By this point, some bystanders had stopped what they were doing to watch. I used the finest ingredients on the market. Oh yeah, what did you use? Golden eggs? Yes. From the bird that hatches the eggs for the golden egg witches. Oh. I'm still not paying that much for it. Why, you punk? Hey, why don't the two of you just settle this with a duel? Alexander suggested, catching their attention. If Uzumaki wins, he pays you in full for the 8 bowls he had, but if he wins, you waive our bill. Sure, I'm game for that. Naruto smirked, and Ichiraku returned it angrily. Fine by me. I can show you first years what happens when you mess with your seniors. Within a minute they were at the duel arena with a large group watching them. After all, Naruto's duels are usually exciting. Kick his ass, Ichiraku. Show that overcharging bastard what for, Naruto. Go, Pharaoh-kun. Naruto's sweat dropped when he saw Kurayumi nearby dressed up in a Harpy Lady costume. If Harpy Lady had decided to take up a job at the red light district, that is. Harpy Lady does not look like that, trust me, I know. Naruto muttered, quickly looking away before the head of his fan club got the wrong idea. He almost regretted helping clear things up for her, considering the crowd she had pulled together full of his fangirls and boys. Yeah, fanboys. The club was pretty open with who it let in. Alright, Ichiraku, let's get this over with. I have some takoyaki to try out. Just be prepared to cough up, Uzumaki. Duel. My turn, draw. Naruto started the duel off with an over-the-top draw. I summon Akatsuki Deidara in attack mode. ADATK 1600. When Akatsuki Deidara is normally summoned, I can special summon 2 clay tokens on your side of the field in defense mode. 2 clay birds flew from Deidara's mouth and landed on Ichiraku's shoulders. Next I place a face down and end my turn. My turn, draw. I summon the Marauding Cook in attack mode. Marauding Chef Warrior Earth LVL, 3. ATK Def 1200-400. His special effect activates. When this card is normally summoned, I can take 1 card from my hand and shuffle it into my deck. He took a card and shuffled it into his deck. Next I draw 1 card from my deck, and if it is a monster card then I can special summon it to the field. He drew a card and smirked at what he drew. I special summoned the Bistro Butcher in attack mode. The Bistro Butcher Fiend Dark LVL, 4. ATK Def 1800-1000. Now I attack with the Bistro Butcher. I activate my trap card, Paper Person of God. Naruto countered with one of his signature traps. When your monster declares an attack, I can destroy it. I activated the Quick Play spell card My Body as a shield. By paying 1500 life points I can negate your trap card. Naruto 4000. Ichiraku 2500. TCH. Naruto grimaced as his trap was destroyed before the Bistro Butcher slashed Deidara with its hook hand. Naruto 3800. Ichiraku 2500. Because you destroyed Akatsuki Deidara, the clay tokens on your shoulders detonate, inflicting 500 damage each. Ichiraku yelled out as the birds exploded. Naruto 3800. Ichiraku 1500. Speaking of card effects, since the Bistro Butcher inflicted battle damage on you, you draw 2 cards. Naruto shrugged and drew them. And now Marauding Cook attacks you directly. Naruto deadpanned as the apron-clad man bopped him on the head with a ladle. Naruto 2600. Ichiraku 1500. I end my turn. You know. You really came off badly that turn. Naruto smirked, looking at the 2 cards he drew. Not only did you lose most of your life points, but you gave me 2 more cards. Ichiraku shrugged. Yes, but now I have 2 monsters on the field, and you have none. Next turn I'll win and get the money you owe me. Naruto shrugged. Well, we'll see, won't we? First of all, I draw a card from my deck and then play Pot of Greed and draw 2 more cards. Next I summon Akatsuki Zetsu in attack mode. AZATK 1000. Now I play the spell card Edo Tensei to special summon Deidara from my graveyard by removing Zetsu from play. The Edo Tensei coffin absorbs Zetsu before spitting out Deidara. Deidara destroys your marauding cook. Deidara threw some clay bombs at the chef, taking it out with an explosion. Naruto 2600. Ichiriku 1100. I put down a face down and end my turn. Not bad, Uzumaki, but I've only just gotten started. I summoned Killer Tomato in attack mode. Killer Tomato Plant Dark LVL 4. ATK Def 1400-1100. And now I activate my trap card. Naruto interrupted, making Ichiriku choke on his next word. Huh. Trap card open, C0. Ichiriku blinked. Huh, what does that card do? I can only activate this trap card when there are two specific conditions fulfilled. 1. I need to have Akatsuki Deidara on the field, and 2. I need to have 5 or more cards in my hand. Now, he pointed at Deidara, I have him on the field, and I also have more than 5 cards in my hand. So, do you know what that means? As he was talking, Deidara had thrown off his cloak to reveal a large mouth on his chest. His body had started to fade away and black veins coming from the mouth was all that remained. It means that by discarding my hand to the graveyard, all cards on the field are destroyed. Ichiriku took a step backwards in shock. No way! Naruto grinned widely. Yes way! Because you see, Ichiriku. Art is a blast. What was left of Deidara grinned before blowing up in a huge explosion that could be seen for miles. Once it had died down, and everyone's ears had cleared out, they opened their eyes to see the field empty. Ichiriku stood agape as his field advantage had gone. He stood there for a moment, before picking his jaw off the ground. Not bad, Uzumaki, but you've left yourself wide open to attack. Naruto grinned. Uh-huh. I end my turn. I draw. Not that I need it, because I activate an effect from my graveyard. Ichiriku gasped as a bulge of writing tentacles shot from Naruto's dual disc. By removing one monster in my graveyard from play, I can special summon Akatsuki Kakuzu in attack mode. The tentacles merge together to form Kakuzu. aka TK 2000. 2000 attack points. Ichiriku gasped, and Naruto smirked. Yep, and that's a lot less than what you have left. Kakuzu finished him off. Kakuzu fired his fist from his arm, still connected by the tendrils from earlier, and punched Ichiriku in the face. GRK. Naruto 2600. Ichiriku 0. That'll teach you to try and overcharge me, you bastard. Naruto jeered as he walked out of the duel arena, leaving an irritated Ichiriku behind. Yeah, well, don't expect to get any more ramen out of me anytime soon, money or no! The chef yelled, shaking his fist angrily. Naruto stumbled slightly before flipping him off. Ass. Naruto scoffed, walking away with Alexander behind him. Let's go get some takoyaki. With what? Alexander deadpanned, you don't have any money, and I doubt anyone will serve you after that spectacle. Naruto face planted. Well shit. He grumbled, pushing himself back to his feet. And I was so looking forward to trying some. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Kurayumi wrapped her arms around his left, smiling up at him. I'll buy you some, Pharaoh-kun. She fluttered her eyelashes at him, and he extracted his arm with a grimace. Yeah, but no, sorry, my girlfriend probably wouldn't be too happy about that. Kurayumi pouted and stormed off. Alexander turned to him with a raised brow. Speaking of, why are you hanging out with me instead of Asuka, I'd have thought you'd want to go around the festival with her. Naruto frowned. As much as I'd like that, she and the others are still moping about Daidokuji. Naruto could understand why they were down about it, but as far as he was concerned he'd done enough worrying as it was lately. I for one am going to have fun today, take my mind off things for a bit. Speaking of girlfriends, why aren't you with yours? You're barely apart from each other, particularly your faces these days. Naruto deflected the conversation back on Alexander, who slumped. Ugh, don't remind me. I asked if she wanted to come with me, but she blew me off for Junko. Those two are hanging out at the Blue Dorm, probably eyeing up the waiters and such. The European turned to him with a pained expression. What if she's growing bored of me? Wouldn't surprise me, you're a pretty boring person. Alexander glared at him, and Naruto rolled his eyes. Don't worry about it. She probably just wanted to hang out with her friend, since she's been with you so much lately. But if I blew her off to hang out with you or Misawa, she'd have a fit. Alexander protested, and Naruto snorted. Yeah, but she's a woman, they can get away with it, guys not so much. That's sexist. Haku growled. But true. Yami shot back. Truth. Itachi agreed. I have way too many voices in my head. Naruto deadpanned. He turned back to Alexander. Look, if it bothers you so much, then go and find her. I'm sure she'd appreciate you trying to get on with her best friend. Even if she is annoying. He muttered the last part to himself, personally finding Asuka's friends to be very irritating. Alexander seemed to consider this for a while, and Naruto let him as he looked around at all the stuff he couldn't do. This festival is a lot less awesome now I've realized that I need to actually pay for stuff. Couldn't you just get some money from Pegasus or something? Yami asked, and Naruto snorted. Maybe, but who knows what he would want in return. Besides, I kinda want to save up my favors from Pegasus for a while. Alright, I've decided. Alexander declared, pulling Naruto from his thoughts. I'm going to go find Momo. Later, Uzumaki. Naruto watched with a deadpan as he walked away. Per sap, he might have been better off here. Naruto scratched under his ear, taking one last glance around. Fuck this noise, I'm going to check Slifer out. At least anything they're doing probably won't cost any money. Wow. I know that this is Slifer and all. But wow. Naruto looked at the half-painted duel field with a blank gaze. Talk about shit city. Naruto-san. Sho called out to him, waving at him as he pushed the line painter along the ground. However, Sho paid for his inattention by colliding with some paint cans and falling flat on his face. His crash kicked up a dust cloud which had Sho hacking his guts out. Hayato-kun, this is the duel stage. Go paint your sign somewhere else. Naruto strolled over, hands in his pockets to see what Hayato was painting. Sorry. Hayato apologized sheepishly as Naruto stopped next to them. So what are you painting, big man? He queried, looking down at the painting on the ground. The three of them looked down at the paintings of Death Kangaroo and Death Koala with dual discs. Red Specialty Cosplay Duel Tournament. He and Sho read aloud at the same time. Hayato-kun, your painting's great. Sho breathed in amazement, and Naruto felt himself nodding along. Yeah, not too shabby. It is, huh? Still, Sho turned to Hayato. It won't be that popular with just Death Koala and Death Kangaroo. You should really put Black Magician Girl in the main spot. Black Magician Girl, huh? Sho's creepy obsession with the BGM aside, it would make sense since she's a popular duel monster. Naruto added, crossing his arms thoughtfully. It'd be even better with a black magician there as well. Exactly. Sho smiled, nodding enthusiastically. Besides, since Aniki and the others aren't in the spirit because of the whole thing with Daidokuji-sensei, we have to liven up the Academy Festival. As he said this, Naruto spotted the others moping around the top of the stairs to the second floor of the Slifer dorm. Yeah, they do look a bit moody. Naruto muttered. Hayato looked at him. I'm surprised that you're not up there with them. Aren't you feeling down about it at all? Naruto shrugged. Not really, I never really knew him all that well. Besides, after the mess with Akio, my fan club, and Titan, I've stressed out enough already. Besides, this is a festival. Who's gloomy during a festival? You said it. Hayato agreed cheerfully, glad to see someone else not being all depressed and stuff. Alright, let's do our best. Sho started digging up his line drawer thing, kicking up another dust cloud. Hayato and Naruto coughed and covered their mouths. You're too enthusiastic. They both grumbled. Naruto waved some dust away from his face as he stepped away and walked towards the stairs. Yo guys, what's up? Naruto called, grabbing their attention. Naruto, where have you been? Misawa asked with a raised brow. Dude, you have seen our dorm's festival section, right? There was a ramen stand. Although the guy running it was an overcharging bastard, I set him straight in a duel in Belmont, and I ate for free. Naruto grinned as he folded his arms behind his head. It was some damn good ramen though. Misawa snorted. Of course you wouldn't skip out on some ramen. He deadpanned, and Asuka giggled slightly, easily picturing Naruto getting into an argument with the ramen chef. Where could Daidokuji-sensei have gone? Judai decided to ruin the mood that Naruto was trying to create, causing the light levity to be lost. Asuka's smile dropped, and she looked down at the railing she was leaning on. He couldn't be getting done in by a dark duelist or anything, could he? Misawa lifted his head slightly. That's hard to picture. It was Daidokuji-sensei who sent Fubuki-senpai to the world of darkness, after all. Naruto snorted mentally. Yeah, where he suffered the oh-so-terrible fate of dual training. Forgive me if I'm unimpressed. Naturally he didn't say this out loud, but he was thinking it. He didn't want Asuka getting pissed off with him after all. Nevertheless, Raya interjected, we shouldn't fix our minds on our enemy. Naruto clapped his hands together with a grin. Truer words have rarely been said, Ryuteam. Naruto climbed up the stairs, stepping over Judai on the way up, and wrapped his arms around both Asuka and Misawa's shoulders. Come on, it's a festival. Let's take our minds off all this dark and dreary stuff for a while. GRK Lego. Misawa choked, as Naruto had actually grabbed him around the neck. Asuka blushed slightly at the contact, but she didn't shy away from it. If anyone were to look at him, they would see an unnerving gleam in Fubuki's eyes. I believe in Daidokuji-sensei, Judai blurted out, before yelping as he dodged a kick from Naruto. Shut up, Kuribo head. Stop bringing the mood down. The action made Misawa choke more as Naruto put some of his weight on him to deliver the kick. Lego. Lu-la lu-lu-lu. The antics ceased as they heard Manjum making strange noises, and Naruto finally let go of Misawa in surprise. Lu-la lu-lu-lu. Manjum was walking around on the ground, waving a cat toy while glancing around the area. Come on! I've got a green foxtail here. Judai sat up from his slouched position and looked down at Manjum quizzically. Hey, Manjum! Misawa coughed and rubbed his neck. Thunder! Judai chuckled and turned to look at Misawa. What are you up to? Manjum Thunder stopped what he was doing and looked over his shoulder at them. Can't you tell, I'm trying to lure that chubby cat out? He turned back around and continued his glancing. Wherever he is, that's where Daidokuji'll be. The group let out a collective hum at his logic. Manjum-kun? Sho muttered as he started walking over. What's up, Sho? A cosplay duel? Judai exclaimed, while Naruto stared agape at the picture being shown to them. The Red Dorm's traditional performance, which Hayato-kun told me about, Sho explained with a flourish. Naruto picked his jaw back up before pointing at the poster. How the hell did you redo that so quickly? He spluttered, marching over to Hayato and getting up in his face. I saw that about 2 minutes ago, and it was completely different. And indeed it was, instead of having Death Koala and Death Kangaroo, Hayato had somehow already repainted them as Black Magician and Black Magician Girl. Hayato just laughed nervously until Asuka dragged the blonde away by the scruff of his orange jacket. What sorcery is this? Is that right? Judai asked, ignoring the Ra's most recent outburst of incredulity. After a while, you got used to them. Why, yep, that's right. Sounds fun, Fubuki added, causing Hayato to look over at him. You don't know about it? Well, we've only gone to Yellow's festival, Ryu explained. We've never come out here, Fubuki added. Naruto took a look around. Why, I couldn't possibly imagine why, he muttered, getting a small jab to the side from Asuka. That's it, Sho exclaimed, raising his finger up. Nobody comes to Red's performances because there aren't any girls in Red. Naruto and Misawa blinked. No, there aren't any girls in Yellow either, Misawa protested, raising his hands up. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I think I would have noticed if there were. Asuka narrowed his eyes on him, and he too brought his hands up. What, it's true. It wouldn't be hard to miss. That's why I thought of something, Sho continued, undeterred much to Misawa's exasperation. I guess he's not listening, he said to Judai. To have a flower here for something like this. And so, Asuka-san. Sho turned around with a big smile. Asuka stopped glaring at Naruto and pointed to herself in surprise. Huh? Me? Yeah, what about her? Naruto frowned, glaring at Sho, who had gotten down on his hands or knees. I was hoping to save the Red Dorm, so I beg you. He bowed his head to the dirt, and Naruto's glare fell in bafflement. Wait, Shokun. Quit it! She blushed. Besides, I'm a blue. That's fine, isn't it? Fubuki interjected with a calm smile, making Asuka, Ryu, and Naruto look at him in confusion. I'd want to check out your cosplay too, Asuka. Naruto twitched and took a step back. What kind of family dynamic have I got myself into? He muttered, slightly disturbed. Talk about a total. Yami agreed, sweat dropping as he appeared next to Naruto. Ni-san! Asuka protested, embarrassed by her older brother's words. I wonder if I should take part in this, too, Misawa wondered. Sounds fun, Judai agreed. Still, what about the Blamagi girl? Hayato asked, before Sho piped in excitedly. All right. Your big brother gave his blessing, Naruto growled. Oh, keep my girlfriend out of your black magician girl fetish fantasies, you little creep. He was ignored as Sho started jumping up and down, yelling. All right. All right. Over and over again. I guess it can't be helped. Asuka sighed, and Naruto crossed his arms with a pout. Little blue bastard. Haku appeared next to him, sending him a raised brow. I'd have thought you'd drool at the prospect of seeing Asuka dressed up like the black magician girl. Well, yeah, but I'd rather it be in private rather than in front of everyone. Haku's sweat dropped. Pervert. In the end, Asuka wasn't the one in the black magician girl outfit. Neither, unfortunately, was it Ayukawa-sensei, or even any of the other girls in Obelisk Blue. Not, sadly, for all of the guys. It was. Why is Tomesen dressed as the Biele Magi girl? Sho wailed in despair, clutching his cheeks as tears flowed down them. Naruto, Misawa, and Judai gaped in various degrees of horror, while Asuka observed them with an odd expression. I forgot to tell you. Hayato stuttered sheepishly. Every year, Tomsen dresses up as the Blamagi girl. Sho cried out, almost as if he was in actual pain. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Asuka glanced at Naruto's face, which was slowly turning a faint shade of green. I've seen a man use his bones as weapons. He whispered so quietly so that only Asuka and Misawa, who he had told his tale to the night before, which had gone down well, if not for a few surprised yells from Misawa, could hear him. I've seen a snake man climb out of the carcass of an actual snake. I've been eaten by a giant snake. But this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. How rude of you! Tome snapped, only hearing Naruto's last sentence. Being the black magician girl is my specialty. She struck a pose with her fingers up in the peace sign. See? This is perfect for me. As soon as she finished her sentence, a tear appeared in the armpit of her costume, making the guys in the room freeze in horror. How strange. This costume was a perfect fit last year, too. Did it shrink? The 5 boys shook their heads, while Asuka made an even odder face than before. I think I need a bucket. Naruto whimpered, clinging to Asuka's waist pitifully. She just patted his head comfortingly, not really knowing how else to react. Wah! My Biele Magi girl. She's. Sho screamed in despair. Wow! What's this? Hayato cried as he looked at Asuka in her Harpai lady costume, complete with pointy ears. Asuka-san, your Harpai lady! Naruto grinned, his eyes drawn directly to her cleavage. Indeed she is. He muttered gleefully. Asuka stared at her to-loned hand unsurely. It's a bit flashy, isn't it? Naruto shook his head and brought his eyes back up to her face. Not at all. You look super cute, he declared, getting a blush from Asuka. It's fine. It works. Hayato agreed enthusiastically. It's just right. In fact, Asuka added, Junko and Momo called me, too. We were going to be the Harpai Lady Sisters. At least, we thought of doing it, but they got away. Naruto snapped out of his daze to glance away and whistle innocently. Probably not my fault. So, Naruto, Judai, what are you putting on? The two of them blinked. I'll. Judai muttered, putting a finger on his lips in thought. Naruto scratched the back of his head as the two looked about the costumes they had in the room with them. Soon, Judai had put on a variety of costumes, making up his own cosplay. Aniki. What's that supposed to be? Sho asked in bafflement. If I was choosing this or that, then I wouldn't know which one to go with, he explained. You can't call that a cosplay, Asuka said, and Naruto deadpanned. Great, thanks Kuribo head now, what the hell am I going to wear? Judai chuckled sheepishly. Sorry. Naruto hummed and rubbed his chin, before snapping his fingers. I'll be right back. With not another word to the others, he ran out the door, leaving them wondering what he would dress as. Minutes later, he returned in full costume. Who'd have guessed that this costume that Pegasus gave me would come in handy? Oh, how did you get that so quickly? Hayato asked, and Naruto shrugged. I dunno, how did you redo that painting so fast? Naruto was dressed up in a rather bizarre costume. Naruto. Asuka started unsurely, what costume is that? He lifted up a mask from his face, which had a huge wedge-like eye on it. Hey, it's all I've got, okay? It's the Dark Eyes Illusionist, one of Pegasus's monsters. He lowered the mask and waved his blue-gloved hands. It's pretty much the only humanoid monster Pegasus has that isn't some kind of lowly version of a female dual monster. He shrugged again and crossed his arms. Dunno why he gave me this at the time, but now I'm glad that he did. Before anyone could really respond, they heard loud noises coming from outside. As they went out to investigate it, Manjim stomped with an even more ridiculous costume than Naruto's. Yo, Manjim Thunder! One of his dual spirits, Ojama Green, cheered, floating alongside his brother, Ojama Black. You're the best in Japan, Black added. Call me the best in the world, he snapped back. You look so handsome, Ojama Yellow simmered. That's obvious. Man. XYZ Dragon Cannon? Judai gasped. Whoa. That's no amateur's work. I'm a guy who does things when he wants to do them. Still, it might just look good on you, Asuka complimented, now wearing the wig for her costume. Naruto scoffed. Police, he looks ridiculous, he said, placing his huge blue hands on his puffy, stripped waist, the gesturesque end of his hat bobbing as he nodded his head. Shut it, Manjim snapped, turning around to stomp away. Now everyone, what do you say we hurry and start Slifer Red's traditional cosplay duel? He's oddly into it, Naruto whispered to Asuka, who laughed in response. First off, Manjim declared as he stood in the center of the duel field, which daredevil duel monster is going to challenge Yuki Judai over here? Me, right off the bat? Judai almost yelped in surprise. Well, alright. Thunder, let's do this. You idiot! Manjim muttered out of the corner of his mouth, you think I can duel in this costume? Try thinking for a change. I'm not even sure how you can walk in that costume. Naruto deadpanned, looking at its legs. Oh, that right? Judai asked, turning to Hayato with a grin, then, Hayato. I'm working behind the scenes today. Then, show. Man, I completely forgot my own cosplay. I'm doing the broadcast today. The conversation was cut off by a camera flash, and they all turned around to see Fubuki holding a camera up at Asuka. Ni-san. He held it up with a closed-eye smile. Well, your brother's just glad to see his little sister turn into this beautiful woman, while he wasn't looking. Naruto's sweat dropped behind his mask. Siscon alert. Ni-san, those pictures. I was thinking of sending them off to the members of your fan club, Asuka. He opened his eyes just in time to dodge the swipe she made for his face. He ran off as she chased him. Wait, Ni-san. Naruto watched blankly as they ran away. Give me those pictures. So, Fubuki-san. Show started. Was a character like that? Judai finished. Siscon alert. Naruto muttered aloud this time, face-palming his mask. Though I do want those pictures. Aye, Naruto, how about we duel? Judai asked, but Naruto shook his head. Nah, I've already dueled today, can't be bothered to go again. Besides, you try holding cards with these gloves on. He once again waved his big blue hands and Judai slumped slightly in disappointment. But now I don't have an opponent. Excuse me. I want to duel too. The 3 Slifers and 1 RA gasped in amazement. Black Magician Girl? A perfect copy of the Black Magician Girl stood before them, her staff held daintily in front of her. It's not Tom-san. Sho practically whimpered in joy at this fact. Hey, look! It's the Blamagi girl. She's really cute. She looks just like the real thing. Is that right? The girl said, smiling cheerfully. Of course it is. I am Anjum Jun, head of the Cosplay Duel Action Committee, approve it. Is that what you were? Judai asked, not having heard of this before. Still, just who could it be? Sho wondered. Since there aren't any girls in Slifer Red. The girl giggled. Don't be too hard on me, please. She did the DMG's pose perfectly. I'm starting to think this girl's a dual spirit, Yami said thoughtfully, and Naruto shrugged. Could be. He glanced around the area, and almost burst into laughter when he saw Misawa's costume. He quickly made his way over, ignoring both Kronos and Raya who were with his fellow Ari Yellow. Misawa, when I called you a furry I didn't think it was true. Kronos and Raya blinked in confusion, and Misawa blushed angrily. I am not a furry, he snapped, stomping his foot and clenching his fist angrily. Besides, just what the hell are you supposed to be anyway? Some kind of gay clown? Naruto twitched, but lifted his mask up to smirk. At least I don't find animals attractive, Misawa growled. Okay, that's it. He leapt at Naruto angrily, and the 2 boys started wrestling on the ground in some kind of wrestling match brawl. Get off me, you damned furry. I am not a furry. Naruto and Misawa were soon separated and taken to the infirmary to patch up the injuries they each inflicted on the other, and the 2 sat with their arms crossed, pouting petulantly as they turned away from each other. Furry. Gay clown. Needless to say, it was a somewhat eventful festival. Kiriyudo was not a happy man. It seemed that, lately, he never was. Ever since he hired Daniel Gray as his second-in-command, his life has been a constant struggle against Amok Incorporated. But from what the papers he was clutching angrily in his hands told him, Amok was messing with his life even before Gray was hired. Sakuma Jairu was Kid's best friend from his time in Royal Academy as a student, and when the man returned to be the commander, Sakuma was right behind him as his second. However, their professional partnership was destroyed when Sakuma had his accident, the accident that cost him an eye and a leg. But as it happens, it was no accident, it was an incident arranged and caused by Amok Inc. Damn it! Kid growled, scrunching the page in his iron-tight grip, before hurriedly smoothing it out. It wouldn't do to have this ruined, after all. So not only does Amok endanger my students, but they crippled Sakuma too? Bastards! He slammed the paper onto a table, his fingers twitching as they gripped the wooden surface. With a scream of anger he swiped the contents of the surface onto the floor, including his television remote. He looked up in surprise as the fall made his TV switch back on. Damn it! He muttered, bending down to pick up the remote. Attention duelists! Make sure to participate in the upcoming dueling tournament spectacular. Kiddu straightened up and pointed the remote at the telly, only to drop it in shock at what was said next. The tournament organized by Industrial Illusions and Amok Incorporated this summer, the Duelist Frontier. Amok! Kiddu whispered, adjusting his glasses as he watched the advert continue, with Pegasus J. Crawford appearing on the screen. Hello duelists everywhere! The Duelist Frontier will be a place where you can have the chance to make your dreams come true. The victor of this tournament, which is on the same scale as the legendary Battle City, will be granted one request, which I and my fellow organizer will do anything within our power to fulfill. Kiddu's glasses slid down his face slightly, but the brunette did nothing to adjust them. Anything within their power. His eyes widened at the implications of such a prize. Just as he switched the TV off, his phone began to ring. Taking it out of his coat pocket, he answered it. Hello? Ah, Commander Kiddu, I presume? An eloquent voice drifted out the receiver, and Kida blinked in surprise, recognizing the smooth tone. Pegasus J. Crawford? To what do I owe the pleasure? I am going to assume that you have heard of the duelist frontier by now, no? Kidu grunted in reply, sitting down at his desk and drumming the fingers of his free hand on the wood. Excellent, then I don't need to explain it to you. However, I do believe that it is in your best interest to find out more about the DF, and how it came about. Kidu paused in his tapping, his hand taking a new position on the arm of the chair he sat on. I would have to agree with you, considering you are running it with Amok Incorporated, the very same organization that tried to kidnap your protege to blackmail you. His fingers gripped the armrest, his whole body shaking from the anger he felt towards that company. And that is only the beginning of their heinous crimes. There was silence from the other end, a silence that had Kida tensing the longer it went on. Eventually, before Kida could no longer take it anymore, Pegasus finally spoke up. Believe me, Kida-san, you do not need to tell me about them. I am quite aware of their actions. Within the usually flamboyant man's voice was an underlying tension that mirrored Kida's own. At first I could not believe it, but after Amok approached me recently, I can understand why they've changed so much. Tell me, Kida-san, do you know of the Kazusuma family? Kazusuma. Kida frowned, looking down at the papers on his desk. The name Kazusuma was printed near the top. I have heard of Kazusuma Koki, the founder and CEO of Amok Incorporated. It is he who has been behind these atrocities. An image of Sakuma flashed through his mind. A memory from their childhood, a memory of playing football and duel monsters, with both of Sakuma's eyes bright with youthful joy. Now, the sole remaining eye was bitter and older than its years. A hum from Pegasus brought him back to the present. Koki-san was always a likable fellow, so when I heard that he had been behind such nefarious schemes, I myself couldn't believe it. But then, I met the new CEO of Amok Incorporated, and everything made sense. Kida sat up a little straighter at this information. New CEO? Then you mean? Yes. I'm sad to say that my old business partner is dead, and has been replaced by another. You could say that the position was their birthright. Kida turned his head slightly, as if leaning in closer to the phone. Birthright, then you are saying? Yes. The new CEO of Amok Incorporated is the man who was backing Daniel Gray from the shadows, as well as being Koki-san's son. His name is Kazusuma Satoru. Coming soon. In the summer of 2015. The conclusion to the Royal Academy arc, and the final stand of Amok Inc. The sequel to Get Your Game On, Databao. The Duelist Frontier. He was preparing for a very delicate operation. What he was going to do had an average success rate, so the chance of failure was high. As was the risk of physical injury. What he was about to attempt was dangerous to his health. But he had to do it. It was his obligation, no, his duty, to ensure that he completed this task. Which was why he had brought back up an extra man to aid him achieve this deadly, insurmountable, unthinkable. Hey, Misawa-san, how long are we going to stand outside of Uzumaki's door? Alexander's voice jarred Misawa out of his internal musings, which was probably a good thing. Lately his inner monologues had gone from being about calculations and numbers, to inane nonsense like he had just been thinking. He'd spent too much time around Naruto, and it was rotting his brain. It was the only explanation. Misawa-san, Alexander snapped, growing more and more impatient with each passing second. I asked you how long we're going to be standing here? And now that I think about it, why are we standing outside of Uzumaki's door anyway? Pulling his mind out of its musings before it could get lost in the fog of Naruto's transferred idiocy, Misawa finally answered him. We're going to wake Naruto up. It's already 5 minutes past 8, and we need to be in the classroom for 5:30. Okay, first of all, Alexander deadpanned, holding up a finger, his index or his forefinger, pointer finger, trigger finger, digitus secundus, or digitus 2 if you wanted to be a little unique in your descriptions of appendages. Why are you doing this? Doesn't Uzumaki have an alarm clock? Second, he held up his middle finger, accidentally giving Misawa the bird. Why should I care if Uzumaki is late to class? Hell, he probably won't even be late because class starts half an hour after you want to be there. And finally, third, he raised his ring finger absent of any kind of ring, so really, shouldn't it be called something else? Why the hell are you wearing a baking tray cuirass? It was true. Misawa had fashioned a cuirass, a type of armor if you're unaware, like Vegeta's second armor out of the aforementioned baking trays. It could also be worthy to note that he was holding a dustbin lid as a makeshift shield, but Alexander neglected to comment on that, in the fear that if he mentioned too much of the absurdity that he might somehow catch it. A reasonable fear, since Misawa had been relatively normal before being overexposed to Naruto. I shall answer your questions in order, my friend. Misawa readjusted his armor. Naruto broke his alarm clock yesterday, and thus it is incapable of waking him. Second, you should care because it is your obligation, nay, your duty as a fellow learner to make sure your associates attend class so that they too may sip from the wellspring of knowledge. And finally, this armor is necessary to avoid a rather powerful punch if Naruto is in a bad mood from being woken up. His expression went grave. It has happened before. Alexander regarded him blankly for a moment, before slowly raising his little finger. Fourth. Why am I here? To assist me in my most perilous of tasks, of course. Right, goodbye. He turned around and walked away, shaking his head as he went. Poor bastard's gone mad. Am I mad? Am I? Misawa yelled at the Europeans retreating back. I'll show you who's mad. I'll show you all. Geez, Misawa, evil genius much? Misawa blinked and turned. Standing in his doorway with a raised eyebrow was Naruto himself. What's with the trays? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Somehow, the presence of one so much dumber than himself brought Misawa into perspective, and with an embarrassed flush he realized that he was in fact acting quite absurd. You do realize the cosplay duel was the other day, right? Just stop talking. What's up? I've just realized that I've made quite a fool of myself. Yeah, 'cause you haven't already done that, Mr. Furry. I am not a furry. Huh, funny, I was expecting an yeah somewhere in there. Let's just go to class. Throwing his cuirass over the side of the rail, he lamented over the 45 minutes he wasted gathering the trays and putting them together. When the dustbin lid followed, it somehow miraculously landed on top of the bin he had taken it from, hiding the cuirass that had landed in it seconds before. As they walked to class, Naruto had to voice something on his mind. So, what was up with the tiger costume anyway? There weren't any DD Survivor or Mobius costumes left. Unlucky. Perhaps, but then again I could have been wearing your costume. That was a gift. Sure it was. And so, the two continued their bickering all the way to class. I don't even know why we bothered to turn up, Naruto complained as he rested his head on his hand, staring down at the empty podium at the front of the classroom. I mean, Daidokuji isn't even here, so ow. He was cut off by Asuka's elbow jabbing him in the side. What was that for? She gave him a stern look, before nodding towards Judai, who was looking pretty miserable with his hands on his head. Naruto was about to respond, but before he could, the door behind the podium opened, revealing Kronos. Crap, a substitute. Kronos stepped into the room and regarded the seated students. So you are all seated, no any? He walked over to the podium and stood behind it, and only now did Naruto notice a couple of books under the man's arm. I will be substituting today for Senior Daidokuji, and I will be giving his lecture on alchemy no ne. Ah, excellent, so today's class will proceed then. Still rubbing his side, Naruto gave his friend a dry look. Only you could be genuinely happy about that. Kronos slammed the books onto the podium, giving them a dirty look. Naruto could even swear he saw steam coming from the man's massive nostrils. Soon, a strange circular mark was projected onto the screen, and Kronos began his lecture by reading from one of the books. This is called the Mark of Annal, and according to literature, it seems like a representative mark of alchemy, doesn't it? Ignoring the lecture, Naruto began scribbling in a notebook. That should be 6 stars. Yeah, 'cause that effect is pretty OP for 4 or 5. Or maybe it should be 7 because it is so powerful? He hummed, and jotted something down. I'll think about that later. Asuka's eyes flickered from their attentive stare to her boyfriend's hunched-over form, and despite herself she found herself inquiring. What are you writing? She asked quietly, her voice barely a whisper. Naruto looked up from his notes, and pulled his arm over to hide them from her view. None of your business. Asuka raised an unimpressed brow, and turned back to the lecture. Fine. Naruto stared at her suspiciously, before looking back down. Annoyed, but still curious, she kept trying to take a peek, which only caused Naruto to hide them more. Even if he apparently didn't want to let her, his girlfriend, know about something that was obviously oh so important, it was still probably more interesting than this disaster of a lecture. To sum it up, Kronos yelled, clearly having had enough of the subject material, alchemy having occurred in ancient Egypt, changing metal into gold and silver, and creating perpetual youth and longevity medicine. It's all a very fake and suspicious matter, na no any? Is that not right, na no any? He was gripping the podium in a rage by this point. Judai chuckled awkwardly. Looks like he doesn't really like it. Professor Kronos doesn't believe in the occult or magic. Next in what was quickly becoming Naruto's favorite lecture ever, amazing considering it was both an alchemy lecture and a lecture given by Kronos, was an experiment. Kronos was holding some pliers and some metal. With that, our experiment, na no any? Like so, like so. He used the pliers to shape the metal into some strange spiral thing. Put this in here. He dipped it into some lavender-colored liquid in a beaker, causing the spiral to start glowing red. The liquid bubbled and the red glow began shining brighter and brighter, much to the amazement of the class. Then it exploded. As did Naruto's laughter. Smoking, 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 Kronos chanted as the cloud of smoke dispersed, revealing his face, and the metal thing stuck to it. He quickly threw it off. Holy smokes, that hurt, na no any. He was left with an imprint in the shape of the spiral in his forehead, which just made Naruto laugh harder. In his fit he fell against Asuka's shoulder, who was laughing into her hand herself. Forget what I said about alchemy being bullshit. This is gold. He laughed into her shoulder, and his comment made her laugh harder. They weren't the only ones laughing, several others in the class had joined in. This is why I can't believe in something like alchemy, na no any. Naruto lifted his face from Asuka's shoulder, wiping a loose tear of mirth from his eye. Calming down from her giggles, Asuka took a gasp of air. I know I shouldn't laugh, but she was cut off by another giggle, which she tried to suppress by clearing her throat. Naruto snickered. Hey, Kronos! He called down, drawing the man's attention, and the class's, to him. You've got something on your face. What? He pulled out a little hand mirror, and screeched when he saw the mark. My beautiful face is ruined, na no one. This caused the class to laugh again. Asuka snorted, then blushed and covered her face, causing Naruto to snicker again. She whapped him on the arm, which just amused him more. After a while, Kronos calmed down, seeming to remember something. Signore Judai. The Slifer looked down in surprise, not expecting to be called out. After this, you are to report to the principal's office, no one. All right. And you all, as well, na no any. He pointed at the key bearers, both with and without keys. They straightened, the previously jovial mood vanishing. Great. Naruto sighed, crossing his arms and frowning. It's starting up again. What? What do you mean? You really don't know where Daidokaji-sensei is? Yes. Sanejima answered Judai's question. The man sat at his desk with his arms crossed and his eyes closed. Next to him stood Kronos, also with his arms crossed. Though we investigated, wherever he vanished. Kronos continued the explanation. There is nothing indicating that he has left the island, either no one. So, Daidokaji-sensei did become the victim of a duel of darkness. Manjim mused. Naruto snorted. Either that or. He trailed off when he saw the look Asuka was giving him and Manjim. Manjim-kun, Naruto. Shutting up now. No, only 4 of the keys to the 8 spirit gates have been taken. Sanejima told them. Daidokaji-sensei should be fine. Then right now, he's waiting for us to rescue him from somewhere, isn't he? Judai asked, making everyone look at each other uncertainly. Naruto frowned and crossed his arms. You're right. More like he's actually one of the 8 stars himself. He thought, finishing off what he was going to say earlier. You think he could be one? Haku asked, and Naruto gave a small nod. Well, you remember he was the one who hired Detective Dumbass to come here. It would be a bit too much of a coincidence if the detective he called in just so happened to be an assassin. There is no such thing as coincidence. Itachi agreed. I know, that's it. We have to hurry and look for him. Look for him, he says. Naruto griped as he, Asuka, Misawa, and Raya walked down a corridor in the main building. And where are we supposed to look? If the principal hasn't found anything after all this time, what chance do we have? What were you going to say earlier? Raya asked, and the group stopped to look at him. You were going to say something after Manjum. Naruto hummed and walked over to a wall, leaning against it with a frown. Isn't it possible that maybe Daidokuji is the last of the stars? Naruto! Asuka gasped. How did you even come to that conclusion? Naruto regarded her briefly, before turning to the other two. You guys weren't there at the time, but back when Daidokuji introduced that detective to us, he told us it was him who called him here. Their eyes widened slightly, and Asuka looked down. Now that you mention it, he did say that. Let's also not forget that it was Daidokuji who called Fubuki and the others to the abandoned dorm on the night that they disappeared. Asuka's gaze snapped back up. Nisan. The clues do add up. Misawa mused, rubbing his chin absently. But it's not enough to actually accuse Daidokuji-sensei of anything definite. Perhaps not, but it's still enough for the idea to have some validity. Rai added, his eyes closed in thought. Even though it's just an educated hunch at best, Judai would never even consider it to be true. Naruto looked out of the window and down at the Slifer Quartet walking towards their dorm from the main entrance. He's too trusting. Even worse is that it's his favorite teacher too. I know that if Iruka-sensei was ever accused of being a traitor back in the day, I wouldn't believe it either. He closed his eyes at the small pang the memory brought. He shook his head. Anyway, there isn't really much we can do now. He looked back at his friends, who all seemed to be deep in thought. We should just wait until something happens. They nodded their agreement. Indeed, there is little else we can do. Misawa nodded. A growl then tore through the serious atmosphere, and Naruto groaned as he held his stomach. Oh man, I'm starving. I haven't eaten yet. He bent over slightly, still clutching his stomach, and he raised his head to glare at Misawa. This is your fault. Mine? How is it my fault that you forgot to eat? Misawa asked, an expression of angered exasperation plastered on his face. Because you decided that we had to skip breakfast because I was 5 minutes late to waking up half an hour before I needed to get to class half an hour early. And hell, come to think about it, how the hell did you know I'd wake up late? I mean, you had that tray cuirass ready. How freaking long did that take to make? Tray what? Asuka asked Raya, who merely gave her a look as if to say why the hell would you think I'd know? It's like a sixth sense with you. There are better sixth senses than that. Oh yes, because I absolutely want to have the sixth sense to tell when you're going to wake up late. Can we go back to the whole being ridiculously early thing? We'll just go. Asuka's sweat dropped when the two casually waved her off, and the two obelisks walked away, leaving them to their bickering. Honestly, you'd think those two were an old married couple sometimes. Raya stopped, and gave Asuka a dirty look. Thank you for that image. He stalked forward, leaving an exasperated Asuka behind. Men. She shook her head and carried on her way. Asuka's destination was in fact the obelisk blue boys' dorm. Her intention, to check up on her older brother. Her reason? I don't know. Plot? With her reasons her own and completely irrelevant, Asuka was almost at the front door of the dorm, when she heard a loud crashing noise. Somehow knowing that the sound was coming from her brother's room, she ran there as fast as she could. Ni-san! She cried as she ran into his room, coming to a stop in front of some broken glass on the floor. She regarded it with surprise and lifted her gaze to examine the rest of the room. Both full-sized windows had been broken, and the furniture had been knocked over. All in all, it looked pretty ransacked. Ni-san! Ni-san, where are you? She noticed a glowing green symbol hovering near the floor by the bed, the mark of ammo. It quickly faded away. What was that just now? Asuka frowned in confusion, before gasping as she heard movements outside. Running out onto the balcony, she saw the tail end of a cloaked figure running into the forest. Jumping down from the balcony, she gave chase. Wait! Asuka called after the figure as she chased it through the woods, panting heavily as she ran. She finally came to a stop, and she faced down the figure in a clearing. He raised his head and glared at her with glowing, yellow eyes. You're with the 8 stars, aren't you? She glared back and raised her dual disc. What did you do with my brother? Instead of responding, the man merely switched his disc on. Narrowing her eyes, Asuka did the same. If I win, you'll return my brother. The wind blew through the clearing, rustling the grass and moving the man's cloak. Duel. Shortly later. It's my turn. She pulled a card from her deck and activated it immediately. I activate the spell card, Fusion. I'll use the Atoll Cyber and Blade Skater in my hand to summon Cyber Blader. CBATK 2100. You'll regret angering me. Cyber Blader rushed towards the figure, but he activated his face down. A trap card? Cyber Blader's attack didn't reach him. Asuka swallowed as she stared into the man's unnerving yellow eyes. With a slow, calculating motion, he drew a card from his deck. Asuka tensed when he looked up at her, but her expression fell into one of surprise and fear as many burning rocks fell out of the sky. She flinched and raised her arm over her head as they fell around her. She then watched in shock as Cyber Blader bubbled away with a scream. No way. In an instant, Cyber Blader was. She gasped when she noticed a fierce-looking monster looming over the man's shoulders, releasing dark growls. She took a step back. Damn it! Its two heads blasted her with a green energy beam, tearing away the last of her measly 1,000 life points. She screamed as the blast buffered her, before falling to the side, her cards falling from her disc, with her lying next to them. From around her neck, her key shined briefly, before vanishing. The cloaked man stood over her unmoving form, a book held in both hands. The back of the book glowed green, and Asuka's body glowed blue as it vanished, leaving only her cards scattered behind. The mark of Anil shined before he closed the book, revealing a sedate eye on the front, with golden veins spreading out from the center. Without another word, the man walked away. I can't believe you spent all afternoon eating. Misawa looked at his best friend with a tired glance. How you haven't thrown up yet I don't know. Well gee, it's almost as if I hadn't eaten in almost 20 hours. Naruto drawled, walking at a snail's pace with his hands behind his head. It had gone dark by now, and the two were walking back to their rooms. Well, more like shuffling in Naruto's case. I wonder whose fault that was. I don't think that explains how you were able to eat for almost 6 hours solid. Misawa covered his mouth, his face tinging green. Thinking about it too much is making me queasy. Oh man up. Naruto rolled his eyes. My metabolism is faster than most people's, so I can eat that much easily. I'm still not sure that explains what just happened. Naruto responded, but he stopped, verbally and physically. Misawa frowned. What is it? Naruto's eyes had narrowed seriously, his gaze unmoving. Misawa followed it, and he immediately understood. Before them stood a man in a beige cloak, with huge shoulders and long ribbons connected to two green jewels on the lapels. The cloak was opened, revealing the gray V-neck with a white undershirt as well as two red vambraces and metal gauntlets. Around his lower face and neck was a cloth wrap, and a gray hood cast the rest of his face into shadow. All that could be seen underneath was a pair of unnerving yellow eyes. On his left arm was an Academy-issued dual disc. Who are you? Are you one of the stars? Misawa asked, and the man turned to him and nodded almost indiscernibly. You've come from Iki then? Instead of responding, the man powered on his dual disc and raised it up slightly. Misawa smirked and turned on his own. Very well, allow me to school you. Pretty lame, Misawa. Naruto shook his head as he moved out of the way, standing on the sidelines to watch. I am not going to be like Sho and Hayato and comment on everything they do. He promised himself, crossing his arms with a huff. Shit gets annoying. Also, this really doesn't have the right atmosphere for the final battle. A snort came from his mind. Good job jinxing it for your friend. Shut up, Yami. Misawa and the cloaked man stared each other down for a full 5 minutes, before Misawa decided to kick it off. Duel. My turn, draw. I summoned Samsara Tengu in attack mode. A man with a long nose and black wings appeared in front of Misawa. Samsara Tengu Beast Warrior Wind LVL, 4. ATK Def 1700-600. I set one card face down and end my turn. Misawa crossed his arms and waited for his opponent to make a move. The man drew a card before placing a card silently in his spell trap zone. Before him appeared a large pink machine that released steam with a loud whistle. Then, he took out 4 cards from his hand and placed them in his spell and trap zone. One by one, strange-looking monsters appeared on the field, all of them coming from his deck. One looked like a silver eagle, the other looked like a bronze rattlesnake with 6 eyes, the third looked like a silver dragon with red wings, and the last looked like a lion. What? He summoned 4 monsters in one turn? Misawa gasped, but then he noticed their attack and defense points. ATK Def 500 500. ATK Def 500 500. ATK Def 500 500. ATK Def 500 500. While it is impressive that you summon that many monsters in one turn, unless you have some sort of follow-up, it's not that impressive. Or perhaps you have a face down that you want to bait me into activating. Don't think I'll fall for something as obvious as that. Instead of responding, the man simply took the last card in his hand and placed it in the spell trap zone. One by one, the monsters disappeared, and the man drew 8 cards from his deck. Did he just tribute all of his monsters to draw 2 cards for each one? Naruto wondered out loud. That's pretty risky. And, as it happens, it looked like the risk paid off. From his hand he played another spell card, and then proceeded to draw 2 more cards, leaving him with a grand total of 10 cards in his hand. He then played another spell card, and yet another monster was summoned from his deck. It had the appearance of a large golem made of pure gold. ATK Def 1500 1500. And then, it got stronger. ATK Def 4540 500. Holy shit! Naruto exclaimed once more, staring at the now powerful monster in shock. How did it get so powerful? I can only assume it is from all of the cards he has played recently. Misawa swallowed. He has sent 10 cards to his graveyard, and that monster has gained 3,000 attack points. I believe that it isn't too outrageous to assume that it gains 300 attack and defense points for every card sent to the graveyard. But that's just bullshit. Naruto pointed at the golem with wide eyes. There's no way in hell something that powerful would get past the balance tests. There's gotta be something else to it. The man finally acted again, once again playing 2 spell cards and summoning 2 monsters from his deck. One of the monsters looked like a semi-armored fish, while the other looked like a craggy moon with limbs. ATK Def 500 500. ATK Def 500 500. Also, with 2 more spell cards gone, the golem's attack rose again. ATK Def 5150 100. Still not finished playing spell cards, the man played a spell that the 2 finally recognized, Misawa especially Chaos Greed. Chaos Greed is a card where, if you have 4 or more cards removed from play and no cards in your graveyard, you could draw 2 cards. He drew 2 more cards, and the golem's attack went up once again. ATK Def 5450 400. I get it, he's not sending the cards to the graveyard, he's removing them from play. Naruto muttered, finally understanding. Is it that weird steam machine thing that's letting him do that? He then blinked and looked at the field again. Shit, he's already got enough attack points to finish Misawa off. He must be going for a 1-turn kill. Naruto bit his lip, his whole body tensed when the man raised his hand, pointing at Samsara Tengu. The large, hulking golem raised its arms and fired a barrage of golden shards at the Tengu. A massive amount of dust covered the area. Misawa! Naruto yelled, worried for his friend. He was surprised, however, when the dust cleared to reveal that not only was Samsara Tengu still there, but that Misawa's life points had not decreased, but had in fact increased instead. Misawa 5700. 4000. The cloaked man actually gave a reaction at this, his stance straightening in obvious surprise. His eerie yellow eyes then locked onto Misawa's face down, which had revealed itself to be a trap. Catching his stare, Misawa smirked. You activated my trap card, Holy Javelin. When your monster attacks, I gain its attack points as life points. Allow me to do the maths for you. I gained 5,400 life points, giving me 9,400, and then I took the battle damage from our battle, which was 3,700, leaving me with 5,700 life points. Does anyone else have a migraine? Naruto asked out loud. And I know I do. And to explain Samsara Tengu's presence, Misawa was on a roll in his explaining mode, and he wasn't going to stop until he was finished, As soon as it is removed from the field, I can special summon another from my deck. The cloaked man stared at him for a moment, before pointing at him again. His remaining 2 monsters charged at Misawa, completely bypassing Samsara Tengu. Misawa yelped in surprise as the 2 strange monsters hit him. Misawa 4700. 4000. D-direct attack, huh? Explains why those monsters are so weak. Misawa's words gave Naruto an idea, and he immediately pulled out his notebook. Direct attack. Level 3. Nodding in satisfaction, he looked back up just in time to catch the man setting a card and nodding towards Misawa, signaling the start of his next turn. My turn, draw. I tribute Samsara Tengu to summon Ryza the Wind Monarch in attack mode. Samsara Tengu was engulfed in a huge tornado that moved the leaves around them, pulling them into the whirlwind. The cloaked man looked more annoyed than surprised when the winds picked up his golem and returned it to the top of his deck. Then, the wind stopped, revealing a tall figure in green armor with a winged helm. Ryza the Wind Monarch Winged Beast Wind LVL 6. ATK Def 2400 1000. When Ryza is summoned, one of your cards is returned to the top of the deck, Misawa said, alluding to what just happened. And let's not forget the Samsara Tengu's effect either. In a burst of black wind, a third Samsara Tengu appeared on the field. STATK 1700. It's time to put an end to you 8 stars once and for all, Misawa boldly declared, pointing at the last of the stars. Ryza the Wind Monarch and Samsara Tengu destroy his monsters. The 2 winged beasts charged. However, he wasn't going to allow it. The card the man set last turn flipped face up, and before him appeared a strange-looking device. Misawa gasped as the man discarded a card from his hand. That's Elemental Absorber. By discarding a monster from his hand, my monsters with the same attribute can't attack. The device kept spinning until a small green triangle appeared in front of it. The device stopped spinning, and one of the 4 spikes that were on the top shined green. A barrier of wind appeared over the device, and Misawa's monsters stopped their attack. Misawa grit his teeth. I end my turn. The cloaked man drew a card and immediately tribute the fish thing to summon his golem once again. ATK 6300. The man pointed at Samsara Tengu, and the golem once again fired a barrage of golden shards. The Tengu was destroyed, and Misawa's life points took a massive hit. 4000. Misawa 100. TCH. Misawa took a step back as he stared at the strange moon-like monster with a wary gaze. To think, I would be defeated by such a simplistic strategy. And without landing a single hit too. Shit! Naruto clenched his fists, powerless to do anything. He watched as the man silently ordered his last monster to attack Misawa directly. Ga! 4000. Misawa 0. Misawa collapsed, falling to his side with his cards scattered around him. Misawa! Naruto ran over to his friend's unconscious form and knelt down next to him. Hey Misawa, you alright? He went to grab him by the shoulder, but before he could, Misawa glowed blue and vanished. The fuck? He turned his torso to see the man looming over him, a book held in his hands. You fucker! Naruto growled. He raised a fist to punch the man, but before it could connect, his vision went dark. All he saw before falling unconscious was a blue light. The last thing he heard was, shouldn't have jinxed it. Chapter 34 Fusion Frenzy. Now, Naruto has seen some things. He was no stranger to the abnormal. In fact, he was intimate friends with the abnormal. The abnormal invited him round for tea and sent him birthday cards. But never before had he ever been put inside a planet. This is some real trippy shit, he muttered, looking around. Uzumaki. Naruto blinked and turned to a nearby planet, possibly Mars, and he blinked again when he saw who was inside it. Manjum? So you're the star man waiting in the sky. Funny, my mind is rather unblown. This is no time for jokes. Manjum snapped, pounding his fists on the inside of the celestial body he somehow temporarily inhabited. Tenjin-kun, Fubuki-san, and Misawa are here as well. How can I hear you anyway? We're in space, he wondered before his mind registered his words. Wait, Asuka is? He looked around. Lo and behold, Asuka, Fubuki, and Misawa were also inside planets. He frowned in concern. Shit, are they okay? I don't know, Manjum admitted. I've been yelling for a while now. I'm actually surprised you're awake yourself. I guess all the times Misawa woke me up have made me a light sleeper, Naruto guessed. Manjum frowned. You're pretty relaxed about all this. Naruto shrugged. Jidai will no doubt beat that guy and free us soon. Probably. I thought you said there was no doubt. And stop being so calm. To be honest, I'm not even sure that this is really even happening. Before Manjum could respond, a flash of light heralded the arrival of Jidai, Sho, Hayato, and Daidokuji. Naruto's eyes widened. Those clothes. So that guy was Daidokuji. But what's up with him? Indeed, Daidokuji looked peculiar. His hair was now white, and he had veins protruding all over his face. Our duel has now been taken into the cosmos, and she ascended beyond the human world. The cosmos? I can see they're just gonna ignore us. Naruto deadpanned. Due to the effect of macrocosmos, I am allowed to special summon Helios, the primordial sun, from my hand or deck. A female figure made up of bandages with a small sun floating above its head appeared on the field. Helios, the primordial sun, pyro light LVL, 4. ATK Def 1100. Once the monster was summoned, the planets containing Naruto, Manjum, and the rest convened behind Daidokuji, and finally the Slifer trio noticed them. Naruto, Manjum, Asuka, Fubuki-san, Misawa. What lies at the top is like what lies at the bottom, and what lies at the bottom is like what lies at the top. What? Either ignoring or not hearing Naruto, Daidokuji continued, pulling out the book he used to seal them earlier. These words are the truth of the world that is written in this emerald tablet. That sure as hell ain't no Kindle. Everything in the world is born through one substance, which changes variably, creating the sky and the earth. Furthermore, all things are connected, and they inflict influence on each other. As do the world of the humans in the microcosmos, and the world of the sky in the macrocosmos. So, humans and outer space are connected? Judai asked, much to Daidokuji's amusement. Being strongly influenced by modern-day science, you all cannot possibly fathom it. However, alchemy is a miraculous art that makes the impossible possible. Can it help you put a stopper on death? Why are you being a smartass now? Manjum snapped. Hey, if I keep reacting to everything that goes on around here like I usually do, I'm gonna get seriously stressed out. Besides, there's not much else I can do right now. Witness my final lecture with your own eyes, Jidai. I don't know what magic or alchemy is, but the one thing I can say is that you won't get away with putting Asuka, Naruto, Misawa, Manjum, and Fubuki-san through all that. To be fair, all he's really done is put us on this planet, Naruto said, but this time everyone ignored him. I activate an instant spell. Planet alignment. And oh, the planets did align. The gravity created through planet alignment destroys all opposing monsters, inflicting 300 points of damage to the opposing player. Judai only had one monster on his side of the field, meaning he only took 300 points of damage. However, with the few life points he had left, 300 was a lot. Judai 700. With the spell effect over, the planets fell out of formation. Daidokuji chuckled. I'll set one card face down and end my turn, said Judai. It is my turn, draw. I activated the spell card, Yellow Process Citrinitas. Gesundheit. This card sacrifices Helios, the primordial sun, to summon Helios Duomegistus. The trim figure of Helios out on a few stones, and a larger sun appeared, pushing the smaller one to the side. Helios Duomegistus Pyro Light LVL, 6. ATK Def? Wow, she really let herself go. For every monster card that is removed from the game, Helios Duomegistus raises its attack by 200 points. I have 12 cards removed from the game. Therefore, Helios Duomegistus's attack is 2,400. Vulcan Flame. Aniki. If he takes this, Judai'll lose. Naruto watched, not too worried. After all, Jidai still had a face-down card. I activate a trap. A hero appears. This makes it so my opponent chooses a card from my hand, and if it's a monster then I'm allowed to special summon it. He held up his hand of 3 cards. Daidokuji huffed a laugh. I will choose the center card. Jidai smirked. Ah yeah. You chose the strongest card in my hand, Edgeman. Elemental Hero Edgeman Warrior Earth LVL, 7. ATK Def 2600 1800. Alright. It has an advantage over its opponent's attack. If you're going to cancel your attack, now's the time, Jidai warned. No. I will keep my attack going as it is. What? Edgeman intercepted the pillar of flames shooting at Jidai with his bare hands, and without trouble pushed through it, delivering a solid blow to Helios Duo Megistus. Daidokuji 2600. Jidai 700. The effect of my Helios Duo Megistus activates. The monster is revived when it is destroyed, and increases its attack by 300 points. HDM ATK 2700. I call bullshit. Naruto was ignored. Helios Duo Megistus attacks. This time, Edgeman stood no chance against the flames. Daidokuji 2600. Jidai 600. You used that last attack to get ready for this revival? Now it is your turn. Jidai grimaced and drew a card. I'll summon Bubbleman to my field. EHB ATK 800. When it's just this card on my field, Bubbleman lets me draw 2 cards. He drew 2 cards and immediately used one of them. I activated a spell card. Fusion Recovery. I'll return my Clayman and Fusion cards from my graveyard to my hand, and I'm fusing Bubbleman and Featherman. Come out. Elemental Hero Sailor Man. Elemental Hero Sailor Man Warrior Water LVL, 5. ATK Def 1400 1000. I'll set 2 cards face down on my field. And I activate the Sailor Man's effect. When there are cards in my field's trap spell zone, it's allowed to launch direct attacks on the opposing player. Go, Sailor Man. Anchor Knuckle. Guh. Daidokuji 1200. Jidai 600. Daidokuji smirked. Magnificent. You truly are a genius of fusion. Fusion itself is the power that is hidden within you, and the proof that you are a top-notch alchemist. If that's true, then it makes him a top-notch chemist too, Naruto muttered, rolling his eyes at yet another ridiculous rant. He was really getting desensitized to them now. And I sure as hell don't want any painkillers made by Yuki Jidai. What are you talking about? I'm not an alchemist or anything. Are you still unaware of it? Fusion, which strengthens monsters with mediocre attack to make them even more powerful, and alchemy, which makes nonmetals into jewels. Both of these are one and the same. The endless ability of an alchemist lies dormant within you, a master of fusion. The ability of an alchemist in me? Yeah, and Manjim has the power inside him to be a combining robot tank. Naruto rolled his eyes, resting his head on his hand and yawning. I wish these guys would just get on with it instead of padding out the episode. To me, this duel is also a battle that will decide the ultimate alchemist. It is my turn, draw. Helios Duo Megistus attacks. Vulcan Flame. I was waiting for this moment. I activate a trap. Different dimension tunnel mirror gate. An bit of a mouthful, like reflecting in a mirror, the 2 monsters swapped places. Daidokuji Sensei's and Aniki's monsters were switched. Mirror Gate switches control of the 2 monsters that are in battle. Jidai smirked, and Daidokuji returned it briefly. The instant spell, Grand Cross. The gravity waves from Grand Cross destroy all monsters on the field, inflicting 300 points of damage to my opponent. Both monsters blew up, and Judah screamed as he was hit with lightning. Daidokuji 1200. Jidai 300. However, Helios Duo Megistus is then revived onto my field, gaining attack. HDM ATK 3000. Bullshit. Vulcan flame. Daidokuji smirked. The instant spell. HM? Kuribo summoning flute. A winged Kuribo appeared on the field in defense mode, taking the hit. With winged Kuribo's effect, all of the battle damage that I take this turn becomes 0. Daidokuji's smirk returned. I end my turn. My turn, draw. I'll summon Clayman in defense mode. EHC Def 2000. I set one card face down, ending my turn. Things are actually looking tight here. Naruto grimaced, watching Judai's frustrated expression. The Full Metal Alchemist over there is tougher than I gave him credit for. And that monster? He looked at Helios with a frown. I can think of 2 ways to get rid of it. The question is, does Judai know as well, and can he pull either method off? It is my turn. He drew a card, and looked at it with a serious expression. At last, it is time to usher in the final process of my alchemy. He smirked. The spell card, Red Process Rabido. Come again? This card sacrifices Helios Duo Megistus to special summon Helios Tris Megistus. 3 versions of Duo appeared. For each removed monster, this card gains 300 attack points. Therefore, Helios Trimegistus attack is 3900. Helios Trimegistus Pyro Fire LVL, 8. ATK Def 3900? 3900? Helios Trimegistus attacks. Phoenix Prominence. All 3 of the mummy things burst into flames, rising up in pillars that met in the middle, becoming a phoenix. The firebird swooped down towards Clayman, taking it out instantly. I activate a trap. Hero's Signal. When an elemental hero is destroyed, Hero's Signal special summons a level 4 or less elemental hero from my deck. Come out. Sparkman. EHA's Def 1400. Helios Trimegistus also has a new ability. It allows it to attack again in a row when a monster exists on the opposing field. The flames appeared once more. What? Phoenix Prominence. Like Clayman before him, Sparkman was wiped out. Judai closed his eyes and grit his teeth in frustration briefly, before opening them. Daidokuji-sensei, what you said about an alchemist's ability being within me, it looks like you were dead wrong. My hand's at 0, and I don't even have any material left to create anything. Naruto blinked. Wait a minute. He grit his teeth in frustration. That jackass. Judai flinched and looked towards his planet. And Naruto? He was taken aback by the glare. Eh? Are you just gonna give up, eh? Don't fuck with me. If you give up now, you're dooming me, Asuka and the rest. Not only are you damning us, but you're damning the rest of the world too. But there's nothing I can do. Bullfucking-shit. Naruto yelled back. I thought you never gave up. The duel isn't over until the last card is played, that's what you usually say, right? You've still got one more chance left, one more card left to draw. And I know for a fact that there's one card in your deck that will win you this duel. So, put on your big boy pants, pull your Kuribo-shaped head out of your ass, and fuck this guy up. Judai gasped, and looked down, before looking at his deck. After a minute of silence, he looked at Naruto, the others in the planets, back at Sho and Hayato, and then back at his deck, a confident smile back on his face. My turn. Draw. I'll activate the spell card, Miracle Fusion. Naruto smirked. Yeah, that card. He used that against me to defeat Kakazu. I wonder which monster he'll summon with it this time though. Out of Judai's graveyard emerged Featherman, Burst Lady, Sparkman, and Clayman, and one by one they swirled into a rainbow-colored light. Miracle Fusion, it's a card that fuses the resting elemental heroes in my graveyard. And the monster I'm calling out is the ultimate elemental hero. Elixir. Elemental Hero Elixir Warrior Fusion Light LVL, 10. ATK Def 2920-600. Elixir's monster effect activates. Elixir began to shine brightly, and something strange happened. My removed monsters are returning to my deck. HDM ATK 0. Elixir attacks. Fusionist Majesty. Elixir glowed, and Helios Trimegistus shattered, and the light continued to shine on Daidokuji. Judai 300. Daitokuji 0. The emerald tablet fell from Daitokuji's hands, and when it fell to the floor, the holographic space shattered, and Naruto blacked out. Oof. Naruto landed on his hands and knees on the ground. Well, that was one hell of a trip. He looked to the side, seeing Misawa lying next to him. Oh, Misawa, you awake? Misawa groaned in his sleep. Lazy bastard. He stood up and nudged his friend with his toe, only getting more groans as a response. Oh, I'm not carrying you. Naruto sighed and looked up at the night sky. Ah well, he'll wake up in a bit. He fell down onto his arse, resting his weight on his hands behind him. Thank RA, this is finally over. He frowned and looked down. Then again, in my experience, groups like this are usually run by someone else in the shadows. He sighed and fell onto his back, spreading eagle on the ground. Looks like it's not over just yet. Chapter 35, The End. Marakata Junko sighed, falling back on her bed with a thud. Things honestly weren't going so well for her at the moment. Sure, Judai had defeated the last of the 8 stars, which nobody even knew about at all until today, but as far as she was concerned, her current predicament was much, much more disastrous. Out of her small clique of friends, she was the only one of them still single. She couldn't believe it, it was crazy. She was one of the best looking, if she did say so herself, girls in the school. She was best again, if she did say so herself, friends with the Tenjoin Asuka. She was good enough to hang out with one of the elite of Duel Academy. So why has no one asked her out yet? Maybe it's my fault? She wondered, thinking about her friends' boyfriends. According to them, it had been them who made the first move, instead of the other way around like society usually deemed to be normal. It's not fair, she thought, rather petulantly. Heat blossomed in her chest as she sat up. What do they have that I don't? Her temples pounded as she began to get progressively angrier and angrier. I have as much charm as them. Her body started shaking. Why don't I get to be happy? Why don't I dash? Junko grunted, bending over and clutching her head. Tendrils of darkness began to creep from the corners of her vision. She gasped, falling onto her side as the tendrils started growing, taking over her vision entirely. Her eyes started bleeding into molten gold. Her body gave a few more spasms, before stilling. Ugh! She sat up, resting a hand over her eye as she panted. Slowly, she moved her hand back and stared at it. A slow smile spread on her face, and she chuckled darkly. Typical teenage girl, super angsty. They make perfect hosts. She pushed herself off the bed and looked down. These will take getting used to. She reached under her skirt, and shuddered. She grimaced. As will that. Also note to self, get used to it. With a grin, she removed her hand and reached into her deck holder. Looking through the deck, she scoffed. Wow, she calls this a deck? She shook her head, before dropping the cards to the fall, causing them to scatter. I bet her thought process was hot guys all the way or something. She turned on her heel and started walking to the door, stepping on the cards on her way. I think it's time to pay a visit to the card shop. And then, she smirked the keys. Opening the door, she was hit with a strange feeling. Why do I get the feeling I'm being really unoriginal at the moment? The thief should be here, Naruto yelled as the group ran onto the beach. Minutes earlier they had been gathered by Sanjima to inform them that the keys had been stolen right under his nose, from the ingenious place he had hidden them, which turned out to be under a potted plant, leaving only a note telling them to meet the thief on the beach. Stopping on the sand, they looked around, but the only person they could see was Junko. Junko, have you seen anyone around here? Asuka asked, walking over to her friend. Someone stole something important and asked you to come here? She finished, smirking at the surprise on Asuka's face. Yeah, that's exactly it. Asuka frowned, a little confused. But how did you know that? Junko smirked and unbuttoned her jacket. Because I stole them. There, around her neck, were the 7 keys that had been taken. What? Was the collective response. The others ran over, and Asuka's mouth opened a little. You stole them. But why? Junko smirked. I'm not telling you anything. She turned from Asuka and pointed at Naruto. My business is with him. Me? Why me? Naruto shook his head. Whatever, I don't care. Just why are you doing this? Junko laughed as she buttoned her jacket back up. Because I'm completing the original objective of the 8 stars, unsealing the powerful mythic demons. That is why I came to this island after all. The stars? Sho repeated, looking confused as the rest of them. Junko, what are you talking about? Asuka demanded, not understanding why her friend was being like this. Junko chuckled, putting a hand on her hip and closing her eyes. Sorry, but the one you know as Junko isn't in right now. Not in? What are you talking about? What's gotten into you? She's possessed. Naruto realized, thinking back on when the same happened with Fubuki and Kurayumi. What's gotten into her is somebody else's soul. Junko opened her eyes, looking directly at him. Got it in one shonen. Naruto's eyes widened. The only person who's ever called me that is Akio. Akio. That guy again. If you want these keys back, the shonen will have to beat me in a duel. Akio told them, not even looking at anyone else. She dangled the last key that had yet to be won, Jidai's to be exact, from Junko's finger. You can use the last key as a bartering chip, but only as long as he is the one to duel me. What's stopping us from just restraining you? Raya asked, narrowing his eyes at her. Him. Let's just go with him. You're in the body of a 15-year-old girl, there's not much you can do to stop us. Well, sure, you can do that. Akio conceded, examining Junko's nails with a bored expression. Just like I can compress this girl's mind until she's a drooling vegetable. Not that there would be much difference, but there you go, there's your reason. You bastard. Asuka snarled, glaring at the man possessing her friend. You get out of her right now. It's no use, Asuka. Naruto told her, stepping forward and holding up his dual disc. This guy's a real grade A asshole. He's as evil as he is persistent. With his free hand he pointed at Akio dramatically. You're a grade A asshole, but you're just barely a C-list villain, so it's about time I put you down once and for all. Yami, do it! Yeah, since you asked so nicely. A dark aura emitted from Naruto, preparing to make the duel a duel of darkness. Akio laughed, the sneer not looking too alien on Junko's lips. Don't forget that I have defeated you as well, Shonen. He raised Junko's dual disc and powered it on. Come, let us finish this little feud of ours, and I can tell you now this is a best out of 3 that I intend on winning. And when I do, my boss will reward me greatly for being the only member of the stars left. Duel. I'll go first, draw. Naruto swiped a card from his deck. Let's get this over with. I summon Akatsuki Zetsu in attack mode. AZATK 1000. Next, I'll put 2 cards face down and end my turn. My turn, draw. Akio drew a card with an exaggerated motion, and paused to look down at Junko's chest. Whoa, that felt weird. He shook his head and put the card he drew down in the spell trap zone. I played the spell card Hand Destruction. We both send 2 of the cards in our hand to the graveyard, and then we draw 2 more cards. They both did so. Akio then played one of the cards he drew. Next, I play the spell card Ritual of Destruction. I'll also use the effects of Ritual Genie Disarrear and Ritual Genie Precogster. By banishing them both from the graveyard, I can use them as parts of a ritual summon. I'll also use the Trance Demon in my hand to complete the ritual. The 3 aforementioned monsters appeared before swirling together. Suddenly, a black mass with chains around it, and a seal on the front appeared on the field. The seal on the front fell off, and darkness emerged from the black mass. The darkness swirled into the shape of a demonic-looking figure. Come forth, Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction. Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction Fiend Ritual Dark LVL, 7. ATK Def 2500 1400. A ritual summon on his first turn. Misawa gasped, surprised by the play. To think, he would use Hand Destruction to send 2 cards to the graveyard that he would then use in a ritual summon only made possible by one of the cards he drew with Hand Destruction. A risky move to be sure, but one that paid off. Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction's monster effect occurs. When he is ritual summoned, all other face-up monsters on the field with defense less than or equal to Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction's original attack are destroyed. What? Garlandolf roared, throwing his arms out, engulfing Zetsu with blue flames. The plant man quickly burned away, and the flames then rushed back to Garlandolf, and his size grew a tiny, almost unnoticeable amount. G. Decodie ATK 2600. It got stronger? Sho asked, confused. Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction, gains 100 attack points for every monster destroyed by his effect. Now I'll attack you directly. Satan Slash. Garlandolf swiped his arms towards Naruto, shooting a wave of blue flames at him. Trap card activate. Paper Person of Gowata. Naruto yelped as a blue shield with a skull on the front appeared on either side of the revealed trap card. Because I used Ritual Genie Disarrear in the ritual summon of Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction, he's unaffected by trap effects. The trap card, being useless now, shattered. Say what? Naruto yelled as the swathe of blue flames engulfed him. Naruto! Asuka yelled, staring in worry, knowing the damage felt real, seeing as this was a duel of darkness. Naruto grit his teeth in pain as the blue flames ceased. Akio 4000. Naruto 1400. I am fine. He panted, falling to one knee in pain. Naruto, are you alright? Haku asked, appearing behind. Naruto managed a nod. Since I used Ritual Genie Precogster in the ritual to summon Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction, when he inflicts battle damage to you, you have to discard one card from your hand. Another effect. Misawa grimaced. That first play of his was amazingly effective. Damn, was he this good before? Manjim asked, and Asuka grimaced. Yeah, after all he did beat Naruto once, and their last duel was really close. Sorry Haku, but I gotta discard you. Naruto muttered, and she nodded in acceptance. He sent Haku to the graveyard. To wrap things up, I'll play the continuous spell card Ritual Cage. I'll take no battle damage from attacks involving a ritual monster I control. Akio smirked, and lazily waved his hand. Your turn, Shonen. My turn, draw. He swiped a card from his deck, and eyed it gratefully. I summon Akatsuki Deidara in attack mode. ADATK 1600. Two clay birds flew from Deidara's hands and landed on Akio's temporary shoulders. Next I play the spell card Edo Tensei to banish Akatsuki Deidara in order to special summon from my graveyard Akatsuki Leader Pain in attack mode. ALPATK 3000. When did he send Pain to the graveyard? Sho asked, looking towards the others expecting an answer. Misawa smirked, instantly figuring it out. Back when Akio used Hand Destruction. Looks like Akio isn't the only one who benefited from that card. When Akatsuki Deidara leaves the field, the two clay tokens on your shoulders explode, dealing 500 points of damage apiece. The birds promptly blew up. Akio scoffed in annoyance, dusting some ash off Junko's shoulder. Akio 3000. Naruto 1400. Next, I activate the effect of Akatsuki Leader Pain to special summon Akatsuki Konin in attack mode. AKATK 1900. Next I activate a spell card in my hand Mystic Palm. This card heals my life points by the total of levels on the field x100, and then I chain it with Explosive Tag to destroy Ritual Cage. A green aura surrounded Naruto, while at the same time a paper tag flew at the face-up Ritual Cage, which then proceeded to blow up, dealing further explosive damage to Akio. Naruto 3300. Akio 2500. Now, Akatsuki Leader Pain, destroy Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction. Pain pointed at Garlandolf, Demon King of Destruction, and a black rod shot from his sleeve, piercing the Demon King in the forehead, shattering him. Naruto 3300. Akio 2100. Konin, attack him directly. Konin shot a barrage of razor-sharp paper at Akio. GRK. This time it was Akio's turn to fall down on one knee, wincing at the pain flowing through his borrowed body. Naruto 3300. Akio 200. I end my turn. Naruto smirked, pointing at Akio with his cards. You set yourself up too strong too early, Akio, a beginner's mistake. Next turn this duel is mine. Akio, despite his situation, chuckled. If you want to talk about beginner's mistakes, then how about bragging while the opponent still has cards left to play? My turn, draw. Akio smirked at the card he drew, playing it instantly. I play the spell card Burial from the different dimension to return Ritual Genie Disarrear and Ritual Genie Precogster to the graveyard. Next, since I have 3 dark monsters in my graveyard, I can special summon Dark Arm Dragon in attack mode. Dark Arm Dragon Dark LVL 7 ATK Def 2800 1000. I activate the effect of Dark Arm Dragon. By removing 2 dark monsters in my graveyard from play, I can destroy Akatsuki Leader Pain and Akatsuki Konin. You fucking what, mate? Naruto watched in disbelief as Dark Arm Dragon unleashed a torrent of black flames, eradicating the 2 top dog Akatsuki members. Dark Arm Dragon, attack him directly. Naruto 500. Akio 200. You better hope you've got something good next turn, Shonen, otherwise it'll be your turn to be burnt alive. Ha ha. Oh man, what's he going to do? That's a scary monster. Sho muttered, ever the doom and gloom guy. Don't worry about it, Sho, Naruto's got this in the bag, Jidai said, not really worried. I know as well as anyone that Naruto's an awesome duelist, there's no way he'll let someone beat him twice. Indeed, he's always got something up his sleeve, Misawa added. Looks like he'll have to once again rely on that luck he so despises, Raya commented, smirking a little. Geez, these guys. Naruto smirked, calming down from the brief panic he went through upon seeing the dragon's effect. Time to win this, it's all or nothing. My turn, draw. Naruto's breathing stilled, surprised by what he drew. Unbelievable. I actually drew him. The single card in my deck that could get me out of this situation. Naruto looked up at the possessed Junko. Well, it's only fitting, I suppose, given the situation. Heh, talk about irony. I activate a monster effect in my hand. By paying half of my life points, I can special summon this monster directly from my hand. Naruto 250. Akio 200. Prepare yourself, for the grand asshole himself, the ultimate ninja in my possession. The strongest Uchiha in history, Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara Warrior Dark, Light Fire Wind Water Earth, LVL, 12. ATK Def 4000. GRK. Akio gaped at the Uchiha, mouth hanging open and eyes bulging. Whoa! What an awesome card! Judai was the only one who seemed able to speak upon seeing Madara, but his words soon snapped the others out of their shock. To think he's had a card this powerful all this time. How come he's never used it before? Manja muttered, and Misawa and Asuka exchanged quick, knowing looks. Madara, destroy his dark-armed dragon. Tengai Shinsei. Madara made a hand sign, and stood there for a few seconds. Isn't he going to attack? Hayato wondered. Sho looked down, and blinked. Hey, what's that shadow? The others looked down, noticing a growing shadow on the ground. Slowly, they all looked up to the sky, and their jaws dropped at what they saw. A meteor! Akio looked from the approaching meteor to Naruto, and said 5 words, his last. You know what? Fuck you. The meteor hit. Naruto 250. Akio 0. Once the shaking died down, Asuka ran over to Junko, fretting about her health. Junko, are you alright? She held her up by the shoulder, looking at her face with worry. The girl coughed, and slowly opened her eyes. Asuka. Her eyes shut again. Junko. Raya knelt down next to them, pressing his fingers to her neck. She's alive, she should be fine with some rest. Meanwhile, the others were crowding around Naruto. Naruto, that card is awesome. Judai was the first to praise it, almost shaking in excitement. I never knew you had such a strong card in your deck. That was lucky though, getting a card that can be specially summoned so easily with so much power, Misawa said, crossing his arms. It was really risky though, to be honest, Naruto said, looking down a little. If Uchiha Madara leaves the field, I take damage equal to the amount of life points I paid to summon him. Really, I need to be 100% sure I can win with it before I use it. The others looked a bit blue in the face at that information. That sure is a gamble, Manjin muttered, the others nodding in agreement. Well, is that it then? Is that the end of the stars? Sho asked, hesitant. Naruto frowned, crossing his arms. I don't think so, Akio mentioned a boss. And then the shaking started. Well, things really went to shit at the end. It turns out that some old dude called Kajimara was behind it all, and he wanted the mythic demon cards to make himself youthful, for all the dumb reasons. Naruto shrugged, taking a sip of his cola. TCH, villains were much better when I was your age. Kaiba shook his head, taking a sip of his Blue Eyes brand coffee. It was the day after Naruto's first year at Duel Academy ended, and Naruto was visiting Kaiba in his office while Pegasus met somebody in the city for a business deal. Back then it was either world domination or ultimate power. These new villains are all a bunch of slackers. Naruto snorted into his drink, almost choking. Why yeah, if you say so. Anyway, the guy wanted to duel Judai for whatever reason. He used the mythic demons and seriously they were pretty strong. Dunno how he managed to make a working deck out of them, but there you go, he did it. But in the end Judai won through some sort of convoluted bullshit. As usual, the old dude went back to being old, all was forgiven, which I still think is bullshit, and then Sanjima put the cards back underground. I need to have a word with him. His incompetence is a big part of why this all happened. Kaiba narrowed his eyes into his coffee. All that idiot had to do was lock the keys away so that the assassins had no chance of winning them. Instead, the old fool gave them to a bunch of teenagers and a buffoon, and told them that the only way to protect the objects that could only be taken through dueling was to duel the ones going after them. Well, to be fair, Kajimara said that all he needed was the duel spirit made from all the duels going on, however that works. Naruto finished his cola, and put the glass down. Why are you asking all this anyway? Didn't Sanjima give you a report about it all? Yes, but there's not a lot I trust that old fool with these days. He probably screwed up the report somehow. Kaiba muttered, finishing off his coffee. Naruto raised a brow, and then grinned. Oh really? Are you sure you just didn't want an excuse to talk to little old me? Kaiba glared, then closed his eyes, smirking. Maybe I should give Katsuya's sister a call and tell her that she doesn't have to worry about you drooling over her anymore since you have a girlfriend now. Naruto's face went red. I don't know why I ever told you about that, he yelled, embarrassed. He crossed his arms and sulked, much to Kaiba's secret amusement. So, do you regret going to Duel Academy? Kaiba asked, once Naruto had calmed down a little bit. Naruto hummed, staring out the window. Well, I had a one-sided rivalry with a guy whose hair looks like a Kuribo, made a best friend who I'm pretty sure is slowly losing his sanity just from being around me so much, got an apprentice in the art of badassery who I have yet to actually teach anything, yelled at some minor guys whose only role was to pretty much narrate everything that was going on in a duel. Pissed off an ex-rich kid who I now have a sort of grudging respect for and vice versa, purged the evil out of Madara's card. Battled against the forces of darkness, including one persistent bastard who really couldn't take a hint, held power over an idiotic teacher who turned out to not be so bad in the end, annoyed a robot to death, dueled for my life against a complete nutjob who had a habit of brainwashing children, and met a super hot girl who for some unholy reason actually likes me and initiated a relationship with me, which was probably at a really bad time now that I think about it. He turned away from the window to focus his gaze on the slightly bemused Kaiba. A wide grin crossed his face. Basically, bring it to the second year. Thanks for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did putting this epic what if together. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a single twist in the story. Drop your thoughts, theories, or even wild ideas in the comments. I read every single one. And hey, if you're craving more awesome Naruto content, go check out the other videos on the channel. I've got plenty of heat waiting for you. Until next time, stay sharp, stay awesome, and remember, even a shadow clone needs love. Peace out.